What is up, Spacians, Earthians, and witches alike? I am just a simple new type here to explain all things Mobile Suit Gundam. I should be calling myself a witch this episode because we are breaking down Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. I will certainly be getting into the story because honestly, Sunrise is throwing a lot at us without letting the viewers breathe and needs some explanation. But this video will be mainly focusing on world building. As this is a Gundam alternate universe and not a part of the Universal Century timeline, we need to learn more about this universe, and that is what I'm here to do for you today. Although this is an alternative timeline, I will point out the parallels to Universal Century and the constant running themes you see in every Gundam property. So let's get into our first alternative universe breakdown. The Ad Stella timeline. The after-colony of Gundam Wing and the cosmic era of Gundam Seed universes mirror Universal Century very closely. While a universe like Gundam 00 takes place roughly 300 years in our timeline and has running themes about the geopolitics of energy consumption. And of course, the Build Fighters universe with the running theme, buy more gunplay. The Ad Stella timeline takes a theme that has been in the background of Universal Century and other universes and puts it in the forefront. And that is the theme of corporate involvement in military conflict. In Universal Century, companies such as Anaheim Electronics was smart enough by playing both sides of the military-industrial complex. But in Ad Stella, companies such as the Benerit Group have what seems like ultimate power within this universe. Their influence extends beyond governing bodies, as we will see with the Vanadis incident. When Suleta, our main character by the way, enters the Astacasia School of Technology, we find out that the Benerit Group has influence over the future technology leaders of Ad Stella as well. Does any of this seem familiar to you? We see this mentioned as the Shinsei Development Corporation is ranked 151 out of 157 with a rank of D. So let's see how this corporate existence influences the Ad Stella timeline based on the events of what we know so far. In Ad Stella AS-89, the Shinsei Development Corporation was created. Their business began with the development of integrated operating systems for mobile suits and medical devices. This was nothing new to the Ad Stella universe, as companies have been innovating in Gund technologies for some time, it seems. Around Mercury and their many fronts in the area, they mine for permit, an element that was discovered to be of great use to fuel sources and other technologies. Permit allowed for the advancement in Gund format systems that allowed for bio-augmentation of the human body. This technology eventually led to the Gund arm, a use of Gund format systems designed for military purposes. Gund arm would be later nicknamed by the people Gundam. Humanity was born in the cradle of Earth. Our bodies are far too fragile for us to venture into space. Just as an infant has to put on clothes, humanity must don the Gund to truly go out into space. This was the belief of Dr. Cardo Nabo of the Vanadis Group, which would be acquired by Orcs Earth. When they were acquired, they seemed to focus research and development on Gund arm technologies. The Gund format made life for humanity vastly better, but at the size and scale of the Gund arm, this technology seemed to hurt one's life rather than save it. It isn't until the Vanadis incident that we see the fate of the Gund arm technology sealed. While the Vanadis Institute was under new ownership, the Mobile Suit Development Council was growing weary of the possible bioethical issues regarding Gund arm mobile suit pilots. And they are correct. It seems that the Gund arm system does indeed connect to the human body. When operating a prosthetic arm, the human mind seems to be able to handle Gund format technologies. But connecting this mind to a giant Gundam seems to yield negative results. Ox Earth, and by extension the Vanadis Institute, were rushing to push out the XGF-03 Gundam Lufrith into production. Because of the Council's concern of ethics, they gave Orcs Earth a deadline to meet production. However, this was all a lie by the Council. They were never intending to allow Ox Earth into the Council. They met at an unknown asteroid to give a press conference on their intentions to seize all assets from Ox Earth and that all production of Gund arm mobile suits would be suspended. As Ox Earth wasn't a part of the Mobile Suit Development Council, they were seen as a private enterprise. The Council was overstepping their power, as it seems they don't have any say into what private companies can do. Sure, Ox Earth was bidding for representation, but minus the bad PR of dying Gundam pilots, they were within their right to continue development. As this all takes place in the prologue, it can be assumed that the Council was trying to control mobile suit technology by destroying one of its competitors in a very hostile manner. Certainly, the risk of mobile suit pilots wasn't nothing, but based on the words of Dr. Nabo, we as the audience are led to believe that there is something very special about Gundam technology that the human population simply can't understand yet. Or maybe this anime throws a wrench at traditional anime conventions and Suletta and Gundam truly are the bad guys in this situation. I doubt it though. In a universe where money rules all, the use of force was a clear sign of a power change on the horizon. The council announced that a new auditing group called Cathedra would be established to monitor the ethical decision that some of these companies make. It was announced that Delling Rembrandt would be the supervisor of Cathedra. He is the president of the Benneret Group, which has a huge influence on the council. The Benneret Group is an umbrella company that many other gun format companies are a part of, including the Shinsei Development Corporation. During his announcement, Rembrandt uses propaganda and rhetoric to influence the world of the evils of the Gundam. He even goes so far as to refer to the life-stealing Gundam pilots as witches, using allusions to the Puritan witch hunts of our world. Although I'm not certain, I assume this is the first mention of witches in this universe and became a negative meme in this universe from here on out. While the announcement was taking place, the Mobile Suit Development Council planned an attack on the Front 3rd Autonomous Sector at Fulvinger, where the Vanitas Institute was in the midst of development. Before the attack, Dr. Nabo and Elnora Samaya are testing Gundam Ilfrith. Elnora is trying to reach Layer 33. It seems that the layers are a system in place to show how much life is being drained from the Gundam technologies. Elnora can only reach 32 before things get bad for her. However, her daughter, Erikt Samaya, is a curious one. She has been around Gund format tech since she was an infant. Dr. Nabo connects her to Ilfrith to show that it could keep her safe. It is during this time that the front is attacked. Nabo heads out to secure the facility, but it is too late. She is surrounded and killed. Elnora finds that Erikt was playing with Ilfrith Gundam during the attack. She gets into the cockpit with her daughter and powers up Ilfrith. And that is when Elnora notices that she has reached Layer 33. She looks at the monitor and notices that this is possible because the Ilfrith is connected to Erikt, not Elnora. Erikt is the one that reaches Layer 33. During this time, Nadim Samaya, Erikt's father, launched the prototype Ilfrith, the LF-01. The LF-03 being the model Elnora and Erikt are piloting. Nadim takes off to deal with the Dominicus Corps, who we briefly meet but know little about. During this battle, we see Nadim increase his permit score to 2 and eventually 3, which takes a huge strain on his body. Now, what is the difference between the layers and the permit score? At this time, I have no idea, but they both seem to be integrated systems to measure how much strain is being put on their bodies. After a few red shirts die, Nadim goes to permit score 4 and tells Elnora and Erikt to flee. His heart races to insane levels. Before dying in a blaze, Nadim sings Happy Birthday to Erikt, which brings up Witch of Mercury's weirdest and most eerie theme. Birthdays?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. できません。発信源はガンダムと推測。どういうことだ?
Ad Stella 122. Our hero, Suletta Mercury, is inside the cockpit of her Gundam, which is inside of a shuttle. She's double-checking to make sure she is fully prepared for her enrollment in the Astakasia School of Technology. The school is located in Front Sector 73. It has been over a year since we dived into Ad Stella, so let's do a quick refresher. Unlike Universal Century and other Gundam AUs, many people began living in space in colonies. In Ad Stella, the majority of space-dwelling citizens live in fronts. Fronts are structures that are built into asteroids. If you ever read the Ender's Game series, it always reminds me of humans that took over planets originally designed for bugger colonies, relying heavily on tunnel systems from within the planet or asteroid. Suletta looks out to see the front, but as they approach, she sees something in the distance. She sees a human drifting in space. She contacts the bridge and informs the shuttle of a person out in space. They send out a rescue team, but Suletta wants to go out and help in her Gundam. They open the hatch. She launches in Gundam Ariel. The XVX-016 Gundam Ariel is the pivotal Gundam of the series that is more or less like mobile suits of this era of Ad Stella, but it is greatly enhanced when specifically piloted by Suletta. It is powered by Permit and utilizes the GUND format system designed for human augmentation. This is the taboo technology that we saw the Vanadis Institute get shut down for creating the Ilfrith Gundam. This is very similar. This unit has beam Vulcans. This unit's main weapons are the Escutcheon, which is the name of her swarm of Gund bits. Each individual bit is known as a bit stave and can be operated on its own as a beam turret. They can also form together in what is called bit on form, which creates a defensive shield while also quickly recharging the gun bits. It also has a beam saber and a beam rifle, which can also be used as a beam blade. Now, depending on Suleta's permit score, we will see her be able to do much more, such as overriding enemy gun bits and deactivating units. Much of the story revolves around the mystery that is Aerial Gundam, so we will be constantly discussing this mobile suit throughout the series. As Suleta goes out, it seems like the person doesn't want to be saved. She goes in and pulls her into the cockpit. She headbutts Suleta and tells her that it is all her fault. She was this close to escaping, and she ruined it for her. Welcome to the Astacasia School of Technology. Here, at this fine institute, we take nepotism seriously. Make sure you are well connected and, most importantly, well funded. And don't forget, have fun. You are our future. And by future, I mean investment. Don't let us down. Remember, when we make money, you make money. Slightly less than us, but still, money. Suleta wanders around being very oblivious to everything happening around her. She was quite the sheltered person and was the only girl of her age on Mercury. She runs into Nika Nanaura, a second-year mechanics student. In this moment, I think she doesn't know if she should refer to her as senpai or not, as she has never been to school, so she doesn't understand social hierarchies yet. I'm sure I don't have to tell most of you, but social hierarchies in Japanese culture is important, which is why Eastern cultures will start a conversation off with asking your age. A few girls come rushing over to ask Suleta about what it is like living on Mercury. She is overwhelmed. They make fun of her hairband, and Suleta is oblivious to the fact that they are making fun of her. The girl that Suleta saved earlier that day shows up. She is Miorine Rembrandt. If that name sounds familiar, it is because she is the daughter of Delling Rembrandt, who we saw in the prologue. A part of the Grassley Company under Sarius at that time, he was responsible for the raid on Folkvanger. She yells at her once again. It seems Miorine wanted to flee to Earth. Suddenly, a duel begins. It is Guel Jedrick versus Parker Eastcott. Guel is piloting Guel's Delanza, and Parker is piloting the Kapul Kul. The MD-0032G Guel's Delanza is a mobile suit built by Jeturk Heavy Machinery. We are going to dive into the specs of this unit, but one thing you are starting to notice about this series is that the mobile suits aren't necessarily as important as the company who made it. As of now, Guel has been the holder and one of the best pilots in the school. He is pompous and arrogant, and it can be seen by how big his antenna is. To win a duel at this school, one must cut off the antenna of your opponent. Because he is so arrogant, with the skills to back it up, he has made his antenna as big and as gaudy as possible, just to rub it in his opponent's face. It is equipped with beam Vulcans in its chest, a spike shield, and a standard beam rifle. Special to the Delanza units is the Beam Torch and Beam Partisan, which is similar to a Beam Lance, but with the little curly bits on the side. The TKG 328 Kapel Ku is equipped with a beam gun, a bayonet, a heat sword that is stored in its backpack, and a shield with a spike. Not too much is known about this unit, mainly because it won't be around for very long. Don't expect Bandai to make a Gunpla of this unit. Guel is getting the upper hand, but they are heading directly towards the students. Suleta stands there frozen. Miorine pulls her out of the way. As the two flee, Guel cuts off Parker's antenna. Guel gets out of his mobile suit, looks at Miorine, and proclaims that her and the company will be his one day. Miorine heads back to her tomatoes. What? Suleta comes and thanks her. Miorine explains that duels are how the students work things out. Things like apologies, money, power, and even marriages are settled through duels. She explains that is how she ended up as Guel's fiancé. It is simply business. We cut to the Venerate Group having a meeting of all its companies. Pale Technologies, Jeturk Heavy Machinery, and Darius's Grassley Defense Systems are the highest earnings during this quarter. The Parnio Company was in the red, and thus the Venerate Group has decided to cut off their finances and remove them. As the meeting adjourns, we meet with the Venerate Group leader, Delling Rembrandt. He wants people to keep a closer eye on Miorine and make sure she doesn't try to escape again. Miorine gives Suletta a tomato as she has never had a real one before. She tells her it is her mother's breed of tomatoes. Guel comes over and tells Miorine she needs to move into the Jeturk house, but she tells him that she isn't a lapdog to her father like he is. Ooh, that tomato's spicy. He gets mad and starts destroying her garden. But Suletta comes in and with the power of God himself, I'm talking about Bright Noah on her side, gives him a classic Gundam slap. On his ass? Now that's just sexy. Guel is offended and starts name-dropping titles like he is Daenerys Targaryen. He boasts about being the holder. Suletta demands that he apologizes to Miorine, but tells her that we handle things with duels here. She accepts his challenge. He will apologize if he loses, but if Suletta loses, she must leave the school. She accepts. On the dueling field, which is one of the many test fields at the school, Jeturk and Suletta prepare for their duel. All duels are streamed to every student's notebook, allowing them to watch. However, currently inside Ariel is Miorine. She is tired of others fighting her battles for her. Suletta remembers that she gave Miorine her notebook earlier and she never returned it. The notebooks are the keys to your mobile suit as well. Shadiq and the dueling committee asks if Guel is okay with the changes made. He agrees. The duel begins. Both are evenly matched, but Guel starts getting the upper hand. He notices something on the battlefield. It is Suletta riding a Haro-powered scooter. See, this is how it starts. One day, they are helping us out with scooters. The next, they are trying to murder us. This is how the Haro uprising begins. Wake up, sheeple. She jumps into Ariel and fights with Miorine. Miorine is confused at first because she refers to Ariel as her family. She says she can defeat him. Guel, mad at Suletta's statement, changes his opponent once again. The dueling committee allows it. She says if you run, you gain 1, but if you move forward, you gain 2. She activates her gun bits and creates a shield. It blocks Guel's attack. They swarm together and fire on his mobile suit. As he is distracted, Suletta rushes in and uses her beam saber to take off Guel's antenna. While this is happening, Vim Jeturk is awaiting to assassinate Delling. But before he goes through with it, he is informed that his son lost his duel. Even if he were to assassinate Delling, it wouldn't matter as Guel won't be her fiancé anymore. It seems that there is a new player in town. As the winner of the duel, Suletta is now the holder. And since she is the holder, she is now Miorine's bride. She is to be wed to the person who holds the position of the holder. Suletta says that she is a female. Miorine essentially goes, what, yo, you never experimented when you were in undergrad? And she's like, nah, man, I've been homeschooled. I got no social skills. But she is willing to roll with the punches. She's now a lesbian. At least she's taking it in strides. But according to Bandai, it is up to interpretation, so who knows? The dueling arena is suddenly shut down, and the front management company comes in with the Demi Garrison. The MSJ OP-122 Demi Garrison is a part of the Demi series created by the Burien Company. The Demi series consists of a lot of training mobile suits designed specifically for the school. We will see Cecilia later, who is a member of the Burien House and Company. It is a general-purpose mobile suit and designed mainly for security. It is equipped with beam Vulcans, a quad beam Vulcan, a short rifle capable of rapid fire, a middle rifle, a beam saber, a rocket bazooka, and a missile launcher. It could also use knuckle mode, which allows the mobile suit to punch fools. The front management company involves all things managing and maintaining all the fronts. They are like a hospitality and maintenance business. Everything is a business in this universe. Everything. They come in on behalf of Delling because they believe that this mobile suit breaks the Cathedra Agreement. Remember, this prevents anyone from using gun format systems in mobile suits for fear of killing the pilot. Miorine realizes that her father is getting in her business once again. Suletta is being interrogated by the Benerit group. They believe that this mobile suit was a part of the same research that came out of the Vanadis Institute decades ago. Vim Jeturk wants the machine destroyed immediately, but it is clear that he has this opinion so his son can become the holder once again. The board members want to summon the Shinsei Development Corporation's representative. The teacher gives Nanada a new notebook as Suletta stole hers to access the Haro scooter and get into the dueling field last episode. The teacher is super earthist towards her. In Universal Century, we saw working class and the poorer castes of Earth live in colonies while the elite lived on Earth. Since the Vanadis Institute and the Ox Earth's involvement, the Earthians are looked down upon by Spacians. Nanada is a part of the Earth House. Later on, girls will spit gum in her food for sitting in their seats. People here are savage. At Miorene's Tomatoes, Guel's house members come to help fix the damage they caused during their last visit.
Do your two-step, your little catwalk make it work.
They talk shit and think that the Mercurian will be expelled. Miorene has been ditching class. President Delling's men still have her heavily guarded. She gets a message from her father that says he is pulling her out of school and choosing a new fiancé for her. She essentially never wanted to be Suleta's bride. All she wanted was to go to Earth. But now, with a heavy dose of daddy issues, she is going to prove him so wrong by marrying the shit out of Suleta. That'll show him. She goes and meets with a contact that tells her that she could get her to Earth within the hour. She has 30 minutes to decide if she wants to go. Vim Jeturk slaps Guel for losing the duel. Vim gets a notification that the representative from Shinsei Development Group, Lady Prospera, is here to meet with him. It is the first time they have met since she has become the president of Shinsei. She wants him to talk to the president on her behalf, but it isn't going to happen. Suleta is still in jail until they decide what to do with her. Ilan Karis comes in and gives her some food. He wants to learn more about her. The Benneret group interrogates Lady Prospera during their tribunal. They want to know how she built the Gundam and her ties to the Vanadis Institute. Lady Prospera insists that it isn't a Gundam and doesn't utilize the gun format system and says it is a part of their new drone technology. She goes full Bill Clinton. I did not build gun format systems. Shadik is a part of the tribunal. He says that Ariel exhibits more permit than the average mobile suit, which is a sign of gun format systems being used. But if that were the case, then they should also detect a data storm. Remember this, we will return to data storms soon. Shadik says no data storm was detected. Mining for permit on Mercury is very dangerous, and she says this technology will make life easier for the Mercurians. Right before they vote to destroy the Gundam, a pair of legs walks into the tribunal. It seems Miorene smuggled herself to the tribunal instead of heading to Earth to give her father a piece of her mind and legs. Delling says that she has no power in this room, but she essentially calls him a fascist in front of everyone while challenging him to a duel. His pride forces him to agree. If he wins, Suleta will be expelled, and if she wins, Suleta will be Miorene's bride. Vim chimes in and suggests that they use this opportunity to test Ariel. Miorene goes to tell Suleta that she must duel for the sake of Ariel. She doesn't want to be Miorene's bride initially because she wants to date first. But she tells her that it is all a ruse until she is able to make her escape to Earth. They pinky promise, the strongest of all promises. As Jeturk Heavy Machinery, Guel is looking over the Garibaldi. The MD-0064 Garibaldi is a proof-of-concept mobile suit developed by Jeturk Heavy Machinery and utilizes new unmanned drone tech. This unit uses AI to adapt and learn to kinesthetic human movements. It also has the new 5th generation AI, mainly because Vim doesn't think his son can win without it. It is equipped with beam chest Vulcans and a beam javelin which triples as a beam anchor and a beam kunai. It also is equipped with the shackle claw for immobilizing enemies and the knee crusher. The drone tech has different swarm modes. An A-type configuration will utilize the beam anchor and beam kunai. The B-type utilizes the beam blades, and the Ambica utilizes the swarm to form a shield. Jeturk is mad that the AI was added to his unit, but Vim comes in and slaps him, saying he wouldn't need it if he didn't lose the title of holder. Now that was a good business slap. Suleta is getting prepared for school while having a conversation with her mother. Next to her on the desk is the gun format tech char helmet. She is Lady Prospera. At school, Jeturk tells her that they will duel once again. Suleta is afraid, but also not at the same time because she already won once. Lady Prospera thanks Vim. It is clear that she blackmailed him into helping out during the tribunal. It appears that she knew that Vim almost had Delling assassinated and used that against him. Shadik is talking to his father, Sarius, about learning more about Lady Prospera. They are wondering how they managed to develop mobile suits all the way out in Mercury. Elan comes to summon Suleta for a meeting with the dueling committee. The two exchange contacts, which was on Suleta's bucket list. The dueling committee is a student-run organization that handles all of the dueling at the school. Depending on the duel, the rules change. We already learned that each duel must come with a prize. An apology, money, or power of some sort are all options. When the duel begins, the observer says the phrase, Alea Gyakta Es, which is Latin for the die is cast. I probably butchered that, but let's hear a Japanese person say it. I'm sure they could do better.
Alea Yekta Est.
Nope, No, they can't. Each of the 3 branches are represented on the committee, along with 2 representatives from Burien House. We learned last week that the top 3 houses are Grassley, Pale, and Jeter. When Gwell is the holder, his brother Lauda handles dueling committee business. Other rules involve limiting beam weapons during duels and making attacks on the cockpit an illegal move. We will talk about special occasions like the Rumble Ring when we get to it. This will be a one-on-one duel in the 7th testing sector. Their stakes for this battle are the same as the last time: an apology from Gwell if he loses, and expulsion if Suletta loses. Cecilia makes fun of Gwell, but Suletta stands up for him. They prepare for battle. Alan, representing Pale Technologies, is the observer for this match. The battle begins. It seems that Vim plans on cheating during this battle to help Gwell win. Suletta is able to take out an arm, but Gwell reforms the Garibaldi into a new formation. Suddenly, the heat management system changes the weather and begins raining in the front. This causes her beam weapons to dissipate fast and make her bits not as mobile. But real talk, wouldn't beam weapons and rain in an enclosed environment like a colony create a giant sauna? Let me know in the comments what you think. Yorone tells Inlan to stop the match until this issue could be fixed, but he says that the conditions were set up by the students by their own terms. This is a very business way of thinking. If someone is cheating in a duel, you as the opponent should have known better and either planned accordingly or not engaged in the duel to begin with. Or as Alan phrases it, if he cheated, then it is a part of his strength. It is very much survival of the fittest mentality. Although Myorine definitely should have known the rules by now, this is definitely just for us the viewers. Myorine gets into a mobile craft, which is some mobile worker of the sorts, probably made by Burien, but I'm not sure. She goes to see who is messing with the environment, telling Suletta to hang in there. Myorine breaks in to find 2 bitches, Petra and Felsi, messing with the environment. She fixes the issue, and Suletta is good to fight again at full potential. She unleashes her bit swarms on Gwell. His dad chastises him, but he is tired of being told what to do. He turns off the AI that was assisting him and fights on his own terms. The 2 fight with their beam sabers. She dives forward and slices off Gwell's antenna, making her the winner. Suletta calls Myorine Mio Mio. She hates it. I hate it too. Suletta meets up with Gwell. She apologizes for underestimating him and is a good sport about it all. Gwell, however, gets on one knee and proposes to Suletta. Suletta stares at Gwell, wondering if he really said what she thinks he said. They stare at each other awkwardly before she runs off in embarrassment. Ehara was recording it all for the students to see. Vim Jeturk is meeting with a few members of the Benerit group. After Gwell lost 2 matches in a row, some are considering pulling back on the funding. At class, Myorine changes Suletta's outfit to the holder outfit. She tells her that she has many perks as the holder. A couple of bitches ask her a bunch of questions when Jeturk comes in insulting Suletta. He carries out his terms of the duel and apologizes to Myorine. He also tells Suletta that he never liked her, he never will like her, and no proposal ever happened. Yeah, he seems to be trying to convince himself in this moment. During a live test, Suletta fails because she doesn't have a team. During test submissions, the students work in teams of 3, a pilot, a mechanic, and a spotter. Their test is currently to get across the testing field in a demi trainer without getting hit by any landmines. The MSJ-121 demi trainer is created by the Burien company like all of the demi mobile suits. This mobile suit is very basic by design and for good reason. It allows the students to take it apart, build, and learn with it. Because of this, customization is key amongst your team. This mobile suit is what the majority of students are comfortable using. It has a shield, a saber stick, which is a training rod, a beam gun, and a combat knife, as well as the Daedalus, which is a multi-tool component. Of course, students modify this to attach Gatling guns, missile launchers, saws, or just a simple articulating hand. She must ask a member of her house, but she currently is not a member of any house. Choo Choo heads out for her test. She is using the Choo Choo's Demi Trainer. The MSJ-105cc Choo Choo's Demi Trainer is actually an older model of the Demi Trainer. Because of the Earthian oppression, Earth House can't afford the latest models, so they have older versions that are heavily modified to keep up with the other students. This version has a large beam rifle and a beam Gatling gun. During her test, something gets on her display, causing her to fall and hit a mine, failing her test. She realizes that someone has sabotaged her unit. Later, Suletta struggles to find someone to help her with her makeup test. Nika, Lily, and Aaliyah Nika sees Suletta and she asks if Nika can help her with her test. Lalique tells her that they are a part of Earth House. Remember, in this universe, the Earthians are oppressed and they live with the assumption that no one wants to be associated with them. Nika says she can't help, but she introduces her to the rest of the Earth House. They all realize that even though Suletta is a Spacian, she isn't like the others. They all introduce themselves, but this is when Choo Choo comes in and goes, "Oh hell nah, you brought a Spacian into our house? Let me go, let me go." Suletta runs into Elan. She tells him that she is struggling to find a house to join. Elan offers her to join his house. But Myorine barges over and tells her that the head of the 3 houses are the enemies. Even though the pair of legs is majoring in management strategy, she thinks she could help with her tests. One thing to note is that Myorine is not a part of any house. Meanwhile, what is happening on Earth? Is it the oppression of one people over another? I bet you it's the oppression of one people over another. Called it. People of Earth are protesting their oppression. People want to be treated as equals. Not on my watch. Quick, send in the mobile suits. They send in the Delanza Soul and the Hindri Sturm. The MD-0031UL Delanza Soul is made by Jeturk Heavy Machinery and is very much like the Delanza used at the school. The school, however, has the limiters in their beam weapons. This unit doesn't have any limiters and is combat ready. The school version of the Delanza simply can't match the combat ready version. It is equipped with a riot gun, a beam rifle that doubles as a beam bayonet, a beam torch, and HC missile launchers. The CFP 013 Hindri Sturm is made by Grassley Defense Systems and is designed to be an all-purpose mobile suit. It is built off of Hein OS and is the 4th generation of this model. It is equipped with a beam rifle, shield, a beam saber, and a backpack beam cannon. Suletta tells Myorine she one day wants to create a school on Mercury. Myorine doesn't seem all too interested. The next morning, the makeup exam begins. Some bitches once again mess with the dimmies. She heads out on her mission, but her view is obstructed and she fails. She tries again, but fails. She continues over and over again. Choo Choo realizes that someone is messing with them and goes to deal with it. She walks up to one of the bitches and punches her right in the face with the power of God himself. The two begin fighting. Suletta comes over and tries to stop them, but she gets punched in the face. They must do another makeup test. Choo Choo is infuriated with Suletta. Nika and the others want Suletta to join Earth House. A duel is in effect. 3 members of the Daigo House are piloting Klebaris teaming up against Elan and his Zowart. The BTZ-48 Klebari is a mobile suit created by the Daigo Corporation. Very little info is known about this unit, but it is equipped with shoulder beam cannons, a 6-tube missile pod, a beam gun, and a beam saber. The FD-19 Zowart is a mass-produced mobile suit by Pale Technologies. This unit has the ability to fly in gravity and can do so without a subflight system. However, it can be equipped with a vector booster, which improves airspeed. This unit is best at mid to long range. It is equipped with a beam gun and a beam saber. 3 units try to synchronize their attacks against Elan, but they fail, and he is able to take off the mobile suit's antenna, winning the duel. Myorine notes that they all fell into Elan's hands. Belmeria Winston is streaming the duel to Nivola, Cal, Nugan, and Golneri. These 4 are the co-CEOs of Pale Technologies. They wonder about the witch's mobile suit. Of course, they are referring to Suletta. Belmeria tells them that they didn't find a data storm when testing for gun format technologies. It is clear that they are using Elan to find out more information about Suletta's mobile suit. Perhaps he isn't as nice as he appears. Now that Suletta is a part of Earth House, the Earth mechanics are looking over Ariel. They have never worked on a mobile suit this expensive before. Earth member Alia tells Suletta's fortune. She mentions that Suletta lost her dad when she was young, and she is right. She then asks if she has a sibling, and she says no. This is a cool piece of foreshadowing that I didn't catch on the first watch. If you know, don't spoil it for others, but keep this fortune telling in the back of your head. She suddenly gets a call. It is Elan. He asks her out on a date. She calls her mom and tells her about her upcoming date. After the call, one of Prospera's employees comes in and tells them that Pale Technologies is making moves. Bermelia is giving Elan a briefing on the flight between Ariel and Garibaldi. They are certain that this is using gun format to control the unit so fluidly. She says that a permanent influx should kill someone with that much use. It seems that she was designed to pilot a Gundam, just like Elan. He glows red. Myorine comes bursting into the hangar, yelling at Suletta for going on a date with Pale Tech. And she isn't wrong. Of course, she goes out with him anyways. Their date is in one of the test sectors. So romantic. She is showing off Ariel to Elan. Of course, he is using this opportunity to get more info on the Gundam. He asks if he could pilot Ariel. Once he is in the mobile suit, he increases his permit score to 2. Like he expected, Ariel responds to it, and he is sure that this is gun format. However, his skin doesn't glow red with permit. Elan suggests that Suletta found a way to lift the curse. Those bitches burst into the gym and tell Guel about Suletta's date. He goes to chase them down. After piloting Ariel, Elan is now cold and rude to Suletta. Guel comes in and challenges him to a duel. He accepts as he needs to test his new mobile suit. Guel launches in Lauda's De Lanza. The MD-0031L Lauda's De Lanza is Jeturk Heavy Machinery's most well-rounded De Lanza. Because these things are beefy, it lacks mobility. This version strikes a perfect balance between mobility, thruster output, and armor. This has the same weapon set as Guel's De Lanza. As he takes off, Lauda yells at him for stealing his mobile suit and tells him that his dad is going to kill him. Elan launches in the new Ferrict. The FPA-77 Gundam Ferric is Pale-Tech's new mobile suit that utilizes the new blast booster. Remember, Pale-Tech prides itself on its aerodynamics and booster tech, so this unit takes that idea to the next level. Of course, this unit utilizes the gun format system to better control the mobile suit. Like the Zowort, this unit is better for long-range combat. It has a beak foot and also contains a beam cannon and can stab and penetrate a mobile suit harder than Big Zam tearing through Slegger. It also has a beam saber, and the gun format tech helps him sniper. He also has the Korax, which are gun bits that are utilized with the gun format system. The two engage in battle. This testing field has lower gravity than usual. Elan increases his permit score to 3 and unleashes his gun bits. He is able to damage the De Lanza's leg. Prospera is watching and knows that the Gundam is using gun format. Belmeria approaches her. It seems the two are old friends. Belmeria knows of Ariel's use of gun format as well. On the battlefield, Guel is able to get through the electromagnetic lasers caused by the gun bits, but he falls right into Elan's trap. The Ferric destroys the mobile suit and then rips off Guel's antenna with his bare hands, winning the duel. His prize for winning the duel is to be able to duel Suletta, and Elan plans on taking Ariel as his prize for winning their battle. What Myorine was warning Suletta about the 3 families is finally coming true as everyone is out to get her mobile suit. Last episode, Belmeria and Prospera have their reunion. She asks her about Ariel and Suletta, but Prospera ignores her question. Belmeria pushes her a little bit more. That is when Prospera asks, how many pilots did their Gundam have? She walks away. This is important because Prospera knows that Pale Technologies is also using a Gundam under the radar. But most importantly, she knows about Elan. We will get into who he is soon. Everyone is gathered at Earth House talking about the recent duel between Guel and Elan. Now that Elan has won, his prize is to fight Suletta. If he wins this one, he will take Ariel for himself. Suletta still thinks that this is all because he asked Elan about his birthday. At Jeturk House, Guel is getting kicked out for losing too many times. He has no place to go. Shadik is the observer for the duel between Elan and Suletta. This duel will take place in space outside of the front. The stakes for the duel is Ariel if Elan wins. Suletta has yet to decide what her stakes are. Since the duel is taking place outside, she is going to need some thrusters, but Earth House has no money and everyone hates them. They are able to get a hold of some scrap parts and place the labor in the hands of Nika. Have fun, Nika. Earth House is putting themselves in a deficit with these duels. If Suletta were to lose, they will most likely have to go bankrupt. Back at Pale, Elan wakes up. He saw a glimpse of a woman. Belmeria tells him that he moans in his sleep. Suddenly, a young man walks in. It is Elan. This is the real Elan. The one on the bed is the 4th iteration of the Clone Saga. Elan recognizes that he will only last about 1 or 2 more battles before the gun format systems take him. The real Elan tells him to cheer up and wonders why he chose to do this, knowing that the Gundams are a curse. He tells himself that he was a curse long before the Gundam. Ariel is out running tests on the new thrusters. They seem to be functioning normal. Suletta opens up to Nika about feeling dumb about falling into Elan's trap. Myorine comes on the comms and tells her that she is very dumb, but she needs to move forward and gain too. Suletta heads to Pale House. She wants to talk to Elan, but not even his housemates talk to him. She tries to talk to him on an open comm line, but he doesn't respond. That is when she sings the happy birthday song. Elan calls her and tells him that he doesn't have a birthday, but she wants to make today his birthday. He hangs up on her. The next day, they prepare for the duel. Ariel and Ferric Gundam launch. Shadik asks Suletta if she has decided her stakes. She says that if she wins, Elan has to tell her about his life. but she says it very awkwardly, so everyone thinks that it is a love confession. The duel begins. As the two begin fighting, Elan tells her that he is merely a disposable pawn. With some distance, Ferrex shoots at Ariel. Her gun bits are protecting her, but she isn't going to be able to keep this up forever. Elan goes to permit score 3. He begins destroying her gun bits little by little. He tries to get distance, but Suletta chases and won't let him. Elan 4 goes permit score 4. Belmeria is monitoring Elan 4. His data storm is reaching uncontrollable levels. Elan 4 goes in and destroys part of her thrusters, but Ariel is able to disable everything around her. Once it hits Ferrex Gundam, Elan 4 is able to see something in the data storm. He sees a child, and he hears children's laughter. During the duel, the dueling committee was able to record permit data. Elan 4 is distracted. At that moment, Suletta comes in with her gun bits and takes out Ferrex's antenna. Elan 4 sees an image of the same woman he was dreaming about earlier. She has a cake. It is someone's birthday. Suletta comes in and saves him. She pulls him out of his Gundam and apologizes to him. He tells him that he does have one memory, someone celebrating his birthday. The next day, it is almost 10 o'clock. Suletta is meeting with Elan 4 as promised. Back at Pale, Belmeria is pleading to the Pale CEOs that Elan 4 still has value. They simply tell her to bring in the next one. Elan 4 sings the happy birthday song as he is incinerated. Suletta is also singing the happy birthday song, still waiting for Elan. The Pale CEOs are meeting with Sarius, CEO of Grassley Defense Systems. They inform him that Ferrex is a Gundam. He makes a comment about doing things behind people's back, but the Pale girls come in and say that's something that Sarius is used to. This is how I imagine all defense contractors talk to one another. The two plot to work together. Back with the tomatoes, Suletta and Miorine get an invite to an incubation party. Miorine tells them it is a waste of time and only for the top 3. That means that Elan might be there. She now wants to go. Nika, Martin, and Martin's bowl cut decide to attend as well. Miorine tells them this is an event to help facilitate new business ventures, people looking for that seed funding for their shitty tech startup. I know how this game works. Okay, our app is called Flurbo, with no U and 2 R's. We are a cloud-based AI platform that mines crypto right from within your rectum. We truly are making the world a better place. Sure you are, sure. As they walk around, the real Elan is watching them. It seems Elan 5 is not ready, so the real Elan will actually have to do some work. Everyone is staring at Suletta and Miorine. They run into Shadiq. It seems there is a little bit of history between Shadiq and Miorine. Suletta runs into her mother and introduces Miorine to her. The two met during the trial. Suletta goes to get Prospera a drink. While she does, Prospera tightens her grip on Miorine's handshake. She is like, yeah, your dad's a piece of shit. Hey little girl, you know your dad's a piece of shit. Miorine is like, yeah, my dad's kind of a piece of shit. Prospera suggests that she get rid of her childish pride and walks away. While Suletta was getting a drink, she of course makes a mess. Suddenly, the real Elan comes to help her. As Nika goes to get some food, Shadiq comes and thanks her for helping the other day. Elan gives Suletta a flower. He apologizes for not meeting with her the other day and tells her he will return to school soon. Elan leads her to the main event. Miorine is looking for Suletta when the main event happens. Elan leads her onto the stage where they think she is getting praise, but Pale Technologies is using this as an opportunity to blame the Shinsei Development Corps once again for using Gundam. Before Delling makes a decision on what to do with Ariel, Miorine chimes in and starts giving her own pitch. What is happening at this party? It started as a place to pitch, then it became a witch hunt for Suletta, and now Miorine is going to give her speech, which is summed up by the phrase, yeah, but money. She goes on to explain Pale Tech's losses and says she could double that in a new company that she is creating called Gundam Tech. She asks for all investors to help out, but she gets no bites. Her father, Delling, tells her that there is currently no value, so she asks him to invest. With his investment, he can actually give the company value. I feel as though this is a moment of respect, but also a moment where his daughter has also become his competitor. Delling gives the pair of legs a 3% investment. With that, others also invest. They are also able to reach the funding needed to be a part of the Bennett Group. While this is happening, Lauda is meeting with Prospera on behalf of them. They want to renegotiate a former deal. Sarius wonders why Delling is allowing Gundams to exist. After her meeting, Prospera shows up and thanks Miorine. She trusts Suletta in her hands. Suletta wonders if Ariel is a Gundam. Prospera tells her that it is, in fact, a Gundam and apologizes for lying to her. Myorine bursts into the place and says, "I run this place now, bitches." They turn Earth House into the headquarters for Gundam. Myorine and Suletta go to meet with Prospera. She wants to get data on the Gundam. Prospera tells her that permit is not stable, so mass-producing Gundams is impossible until they can prove the safety of Gundams and their pilots. All that Suletta asks is why her mother lied to her. She said it were to protect them from people who feared the Gundam. Myorine thinks she should have asked why the Gundam doesn't hurt her, but Suletta says Ariel is family. Back at the Earth House, they need to incorporate the business and are trying to figure out what exactly they should sell. Because everyone hears from Earth House, many of them don't really want to make a weapon that may one day be used against them. Meanwhile, Gwell is living out in the middle of nowhere on the school grounds. Some kids come to make fun of him. Shadiq comes and invites him to his house, but Gwell doesn't want to take charity. Sarius is very much anti-Gundam, but Shadiq sees them as the future and finds his adopted father to be stubborn. Shadiq also tries to convince Myorine to give her new company to him in exchange for resources, but she ain't having it. The next day, Myorine shows Earth House a video from Vanadis. It is a video of Carbo Nabo, who we've seen in the prequel, explaining the true purpose of gun format for medical purposes. The team decides to follow in the footsteps of Vanadis and make this their new business model. Everyone is finally on board with this business idea. As Suletta and Myorine go to get food for the team, they get an important message. It appears Shadiq has changed the rules to prevent them from going through with the business and reverting all assets to the Venerate Group. Shadiq truly wants this company for himself. Of course, Myorine isn't going to allow this to happen. Gwell wins another duel. A Grassley house girl streaming the duel mentions that this is the 5th duel this month. He is clearly overcompensating. But they also wonder why Shadiq isn't making any moves either. Another mentions it is because he is hesitant around Myorine. Shadiq and Myorine are talking at the tomatoes. Shadiq mentions that he has no intention of ever becoming the holder. It is a bore to him. Myorine is just tired of people fighting to become her bride. She wants to head to Earth. This all, of course, is a flashback, which I actually didn't realize initially. Back in the present, someone destroyed the Gundam Inc. sign that the team made. While dealing with the company, Shadiq is pestering Myorine to join forces. She asks again if Gundam would like to become partners, this time in front of Suletta. Myorine will remain president and handle operations and management. If I remember correctly, in return he will throw money at them while trying to find a way to steal their data on the Gundam. But he says he just wants a small piece of the pie, playing it cool. Myorine asks Shadiq if he was the one who rewrote the rules to prevent their company from incorporating. He beats around the bush and says he will be the only one to catch her when she falls. Shadiq, the man who finds duels a bore, apparently forgot about duels because this is exactly what Myorine does. She challenges Shadiq. Lauda oversees the duel. It will take place on the 4th Tactical Testing Grounds. They plan on doing a team battle for this match. It will be 6v6. They're concerned that they won't have enough pilots. Myorine wants the stream to be aired outside of the school as she thinks it will make for great marketing. One of Grassley House members, Renee, talks shit to Lalique. Lalique says, "The f*** did I do to you?" She is confused and scared, possibly scaroused. The only real pilots that Earth has are Suletta and Choo-Choo. They are all squabbling at one another when Myorine tells them to leave while she thinks of a plan. Meanwhile, Nika and Shadiq meet. Last time, we learned that Nika is a mole for Shadiq in some form or another. She insults him, but he tells her it isn't a concern of a go-between, which I had to look that up. It's a broker or messenger? Not really a common phrase over on the Pacific coast of the US. But is that common to you? Let me know in the comments. Suletta runs into Gwell. She asks him if he can help out with the duel, but he tells her that his father has forbid him to duel. Pale Tech is able to loan 4 Zowards for the Earth House to use during the battle. At Grassley House, Renee, Hanau, Sabina, Maisie, and Irisha pilot the Begir Pente. Till, Martin, Ohelo, and Lalique are piloting Zowards while Choo-Choo is in her Demi trainer and Suletta is in Ariel. The CEK 077 Begir Pente is the predecessor to the Begir Bow, which we saw fighting against Ilfrith Gundam during the Vanadis incident in the prologue. This anti-gun format mobile suit has the ability to disable gun format equipment with an attack called the Antidote. It is equipped with a beam rifle, a non-kinetic shield, which is controlled via a wire, and a beam saber. It also has a backpack with high capacity thrusters and antidote support. Shadiq launches switches in the Michaelis. The CFK-029 Michaelis is Grassley Defense Systems' latest model that uses the same antidote method as the Bagheer Pente. Its main weapon is the Beam Bracer. This can be used as a beam weapon, but is also used as an anti-gun tech and uses non-kinetic effectors, whatever that means. One thing that we learn is that it only affects gun format systems with a permit score of 3 or lower. The Beam Bracer can also be controlled like a wired gun barrel. It also has a beam saber, a javelin bracer, which contains a drill javelin and a strike brace, making it an effective melee weapon. In a team battle like this, the objective is to cut off the antenna of the designated team leader. The battle begins. This is a bigger test field, so they have a lot more lead-in time for strategy and whatnot. Suletta is actually running defense because her team kind of isn't the best in terms of pilot skills. They need someone with skills to defend. Myorine suggests using Martin as a human shield if things go bad. Chuchu is supporting the rear. She is the first to get attacked by Grassley. Renee goes to attack Lalique. It appears she was mad at her because her backup boyfriend asked Lalique to lunch and she declined. Martin and Ohelo are taken out quickly. Till doesn't last long either. Chuchu is able to hold and fight for a little longer, but she is taken down quick as well. They surround Ariel. As she tries to escape, the Grassley mobile suits use their anti-gun tech to disable her. They take out her right arm. It seems that Ariel is down, but she talks to the Gundam, and it overrides their antidote weapons. Meanwhile, Chuchu, Lalique, and Till are still functioning. They get up and try to help. Ariel reactivates, and she is able to take out 2 Bagheer Pentes, but Shadiq comes in and begins assaulting her. Ariel's right leg goes out, and she is struggling to walk. Shadiq says he is the only one that could pilot Myorine. Right before he destroys Ariel, Chuchu snipes Shadiq's mobile suit, destroying his antenna and winning the match. Gundam Inc. is finally able to incorporate and become a real company. Shadiq tells Myorine that he is sorry that he didn't try in the past as much as he tried today. She says it's a little too late. Sarius has a meeting with Cathedra. He has been trying to put in requests to take down the Gundam, but it has been denied. He wonders why Delling is now protecting the Gundam. Vim, Jeturk, and Sarius plan on assassinating Delling. Shadiq has allowed the postponement of duels while Ariel gets fixed up. Suletta is tending to the greenhouse while Myorine is out on a business trip. Chuchu calls and reminds Suletta of the gunned leg that they should be testing. She runs and meets with the rest of the team. Belmeria is with them. They never explicitly say, but I assume Pale has a small piece of gunned arm. Plus Belmeria is a former Vanitas member, so she is genuinely interested. Suletta tests the gunned legs. She is able to clear it easier than it was for Nika to see between Chuchu's hair. When asked if Suletta remembered to get permission to shoot the new PR video, she responds by saying Suletta wasureta, or Suletta forgeta in the English dub. Later, Suletta goes to buy keychains as a gift to Myorine. Some poor soul will end up in one of these, but you don't have to worry about that for like 14 more episodes. Myorine goes to meet with her father, keeping her up to date with the company. Now that he is an investor, she gives him frequent reports on what is happening. Also, Till is there procuring the company with a new spaceship. Myorine gets Gaston and Fang to pilot the ship for them. Fang was originally the pilot who was going to help Myorine escape to Earth. Myorine realizes that the two also work for the Space Assembly League. This is a mediation group similar to Reverend Malkio in Gundam Seed. However, Reverend Malkio is one man that helps out greatly, whereas the Space Assembly League is an organization that moves the needle very slowly. The president of Grassley is talking about an assassination attempt. You wanna wake up for this one? They are going to let Vim do the assassination and watch. However, Shadiq wants to do it to prove his worth to his adopted father. They didn't get permission, and since they are Earthians, they definitely won't get any help from the administrative staff. Suletta suggests that they use the Dueling Committee Lounge. As the holder, she has access to it. Meanwhile, Vim has made Guel drop out of school to work for one of his companies. Guel no longer has those Nepo baby privileges. Shadiq calls Naji, who is in Japan, on Earth. He wants him to assassinate Delling for him. He will arrive at Plant Quete in 5 days. It seems the person who set up the call between Shadiq and Naji was Nika, as Naji seems to be the father figure to her. After running tests with Belmeria, Suletta runs into Elan. He tells her that she looks very cute. He asks her out on a date and tells her that her marriage with Myorine isn't real. She pushes Elan and runs away. We find out from the Pale CEOs that this is Elan 5. His personality is closer to that of the original Elan. She heads back to the tomatoes to find out that Myorine is back from her trip. He has hired people to tend to her tomatoes, as well as hired Elan to help out as a test pilot. Suletta feels that Myorine truly doesn't have any feelings for her and is just another tool for her to use. She drops her keychain present. Meanwhile, on Planet Quetta, Delling happens to be meeting with Prospera. The team is heading out in their new ship. Martin is manning the captain's chair with Belmeria by his side. I guess that makes sense. Martin is the leader of Earth House. His bowl cut is doing most of the work though. Suletta goes to check on the livestock. Why did they bring the farm animals with them? Myorine wants Nika to surpass Belmeria in skills so she could be an asset to Gun Arm and not have to rely on Belmeria, who works for Pale. Suletta hides from Myorine and wonders to herself why she did that. Delling and Prospera meet to discuss the secret project, Quiet Zero. She says he can refer to her as Elnora Samaya. She tells him that Ariel reached a permit score of 6 when Suletta went up against Grassley House. Prospera gives him data on Ariel for Quiet Zero. Remember, last week we saw Guel work for one of his father's companies. We also saw Nika helping Shadik team up with the terrorist group Dawn of Fold to assassinate Delling. Dawn of Fold is an anti-Spacian pro-Earth terrorist organization that have previously attacked the Benerit group. Led by Naji, this group takes over the ship that Guel was working on. Sophie is a crazy bee and attacks Guel, who is going by the name Bob. He tells the team to go about their work and pretend they aren't there. Suletta does the thing where she hands out all the food and there is no food left for her cliche. She goes to hang out on a toilet. People seem to hang out in toilets on this show. Usually I would think this was gross, but look at how pristine those toilets are. Vim tells Delling that Sarius is probably going to go after Myorine, but he simply tells Vim to worry about his own missing son. He doesn't like this, as he lays his hands on Delling. Guards escort him out, but Vim is able to put a tracker on one of Delling's guards. Vim contacts Shadik to begin the assassination in 2 hours, while also talking shit to him about being adopted. Shadik decides to not wait the 2 hours and begins the operation immediately. Noria and Sophie prepare their mobile suits. Sophie seems obsessed with Suletta as she watches her battles over and over again. Meanwhile, near the moon, the Dominicus Corps is heading out in the Ulysses. We never talked about him, but Kanaji Avery was a part of the Dominicus Corps during the Vanidus incident where he piloted a Begir bow. See, this is what happens when you get way too into craft beer. He is informed of a Jeturk ship trying to get access to the area. He wonders what the ship is doing around here. At Planet Quetta, Belmeria makes this face at Prospera. The pair of legs finds Suletta and chases her. She tells Myorine that she thinks that no one believes in her. Myorine summons a small slap. She punches Suletta in the boob and tells her that if she wants Myorine to rely on her, then never leave her side. 3 Dawn of Fold members head out in the Desultor. The MD-0021 Desultor is a general-purpose mobile suit made by Jeturk Heavy Machinery before the creation of the Delanza. These mobile suits were given to Dawn of Fold by Shadik to lay fingers at Vim Jeturk. It is equipped with 140mm chest Vulcans, a shield, and an assault rifle that fires shell weapons, which I believe go against the treaty, but I can't confirm this. This is the kind of universe where they would regulate beam technology because it is easy to track. The future is starting to suck. It is also equipped with a heat knife, a bazooka, and a 3-tube missile launcher. The 3 Desultors begin disrupting communications. That is when Noria and Sophie launch in the Ilfrith Thorn and Ilfrith The EDM GA-02 Gundam Ilfrith Thorn is built by Ox Earth Corporation. Since the Vanidus incident, they have thought to have disappeared, but we will soon learn that they have been alive and in hiding and working with the Space Assembly League. This is a heavily modified version of the Ilfrith pre-production model. Its stubby legs and arms give this unit a good center of gravity. Its main weapon is the beam diffuse gun. This is a scattershot beam weapon that uses a high-capacity battery. It is also equipped with a phased array cannon, which utilizes gun format tech and a beam saber unit. The EDM GA-01 Gundam Ilfrith is also modified from the Ilfrith pre-production model, but it is so heavily customized that it doesn't bear any resemblance to the Ilfrith models. It is designed for short sorties, but can cause a great deal of damage in a small amount of time. It is equipped with a beam Gatling gun, the phased array cannon utilizing gun format, a beam saber, and beam Vulcans mounted on the shoulders. Both of these units were created to fight against the Benerit group and perform anti-Spacian terrorist acts. Suletta finally gives Myorine her keychain gift. That is when Plant Quetta gets a red alert. The Ilfriths use their phase array cannon on the plant. Vim realizes that Shadik betrayed him. The hot-headed Sophie goes in to find Delling. Suletta and Myorine are split up during the attack. Sophie happens to run into Suletta. She realizes that she isn't in her mobile suit, so she doesn't want to kill her and shoots around her, hoping she will run to Ariel. Vim Jeturk heads back to his ship and launches in a Delanza Soul along with some of his men in Delanzas. It is kind of wild. It would be like if the CEO of Lockheed Martin took one of their F-35s and said, "Screw it, I will fix Gaza myself." You think those chicken hawks are ever going to get close to a battlefield? Now that is fiction. Myorine runs into her father, Delling. Sophie runs into some Brigadier Pentes. She goes to permit score 2, causing damage. The pale mobile suits use the antidote on her Ilfrith. She goes permit score 4 and reactivates her gunned format. However, it causes her a great deal of pain. She uses her Gatling gun and takes out the rest of the Grassley mobile suits. Noria is calm and collected as she takes out Jeturk mobile suits. During Sophie's attack around Suletta, it happened to greatly injure Delling in the process. Myorine tries to help her father. The Desolters make their way into the plant and head out on foot. The Earthhouse team is on the Gundam Inc. ship. They are all freaking out. Noria and her Ilfrith is about to destroy the hangar, but Nika sends out a message in Morse code to Noria informing her that she is an ally. However, Martin saw what she just did. Vim attacks the Jeturk ship that happens to also have his son on it. He realizes that he is also fighting against his own mobile suits. Guel decides to escape the ship using a Desolter, but he is instantly attacked by his own father. His mobile suit is heavily damaged, but he rushes towards the Delanza Soul and stabs the cockpit. He finally establishes communication with the mobile suit, realizing that it is his father. As the mobile suit explodes, Guel cries out for his daddy. Inside the plant, Suletta is spotted by Donna Fold, but she is saved by Prospera. We have the most adorable, heartwarming version of Shinji get into the Eva that I have ever seen. Aw, I don't even mind that you're about to do a little bit of murder. Sophie breaks into the factory and finds Suletta in the Gundam Ariel rebuild. The XVX-016RN Gundam Ariel Rebuild is an upgraded version of the Ariel after the battle with Grassley House. There is only really two main differences between this unit and the original. One, it now has a built-in thruster backpack, so they don't have to rely on that janky-ass old version that Nika made for the battle with Elan. This also gives Ariel a new blue accent color that extends to the backpack thrusters like wings. The second change in the rebuild is the new beam rifle. The beam rifle can now utilize Ariel's gun bit staves, and when combined, it turns it into a beam cannon or gun bit cannon. This cannon can destroy mobile suits, even if it is close by the beam attacks. This Ariel also has some RGB going on, so you know she's a real gamer. Depending on Suletta's permit score, the mobile suit will glow a different color. It still utilizes gunned on form, the bit staves to create shields and other various things, along with the beam saber and beam Vulcans. We will also see that once Suletta reaches a permit score of 6, she actually has the ability to disable other gun format tech. She pushes Sophie out into space, and the two begin their battle. Ariel realizes that she is fighting against another Gundam. Noria comes to help out, but Sophie doesn't want her to interfere. Suletta uses the gun-to-bit cannon for the first time. Sophie laughs at the sheer power. Captain Avery and the Dominicus Corps make their way to the battlefield. They send out mobile suits to help. Too much time has passed. Naji tells the team to retreat. Shadik's mission has failed. And that will do it for this episode. I kid. This episode fakes you out with a very long post-credit scene on how to make tomato sauce. Myorine is transporting her severely injured father. Suddenly, out of the corner, comes one of the terrorists, who happen to still be alive. He realizes that he was left behind and will kamikaze himself if he has to. Right before he shoots Myorine and Delling, Suletta comes bursting in with Ariel. Earlier in the episode, we saw Prospera save Suletta by killing a bunch of terrorists. She told Suletta that she didn't hesitate, move forward, and gain too. In this moment, Suletta did the exact same thing that Prospera did for her. She didn't hesitate. She gained, too. Yeah, so anyways, the way to make tomato sauce is to take the tomato and smash the shit out of it. End of recipe. Suletta has the most adorable smile on her face for just committing murder. However, Myorine, the confident pair of legs, is horrified and scared of her. It has been 2 weeks since the incident at Plant Quetta. Back at the Astacassia School of Technology, everything is back to normal. A duel is about to begin. The catty bitches who are always trying to start shit, whose names I refuse to learn, are representing their houses. Elan is acting as the observer for this duel. Remember, this is Elan 5. The Elan that public faces with the people usually isn't the real Elan. These are either clones or people genetically modified to look like Elan. They keep it kind of vague. Elan 4 was a witch who can control gun format. However, Peltec deemed him to not be good enough, so they burned him and made Elan 5, which is who we are seeing here. And now for our first duelist of the second season and challenger. Standing tall at 19 meters is Ebony Boaz in the Azrawan. The F-0612 Azrawan is a mobile suit manufactured by Farisa Robotics. This unit is 19 meters tall and is equipped with 2 beam Vulcan guns mounted on the forearms along with an arm shield. And now the reigning champion. Representing Earth House, this space tanuki likes to paint her hands red. Standing at 18.2 meters tall and rocking the new aerial rebuild, I give you the current holder of the Astakasia School of Technology. It's Suletta Mercury. Suletta is fighting Ebony. Ebony, are you accidentally going to be racist again, Japan? Oh, hey, look, they weren't racist this time. Good old white guy. Oh, I said good old white guy. That's not right either. And the bell has rung. One thing to note about Ebony is it seems he wants to be Myorene's bride, so he must defeat Suletta to make this happen. Everyone wants a piece of the walking pair of legs. Suletta is able to tear through the Azrawan's armor and take out the antenna, winning the round. But she hasn't won just yet. This is a serial battle. After winning, she has to move on to the 16th Tactical Testing Sector to fight against the Hostler 2. The FMS V3 Hostler 2 is a mobile suit built by Wobbler Motive and is 20.1 meters tall. It is equipped with claws instead of manipulator arms and 2 beam rotors on the forearms to provide extra flight. It can also be used for defensive purposes. Even though this makes a small appearance, this unit is designed by Ippei Gyobu, who is killing it with the mobile suit designs. The Hostler 2 pilot doesn't get a name because she is taken out with the quickness. Earthhouse notes that no one can stand a chance against Ariel. Suletta moves on to the 8th Tactical Sector, which is a desert setting. She begins another fight against the Hippolyte. The AX-B-120 Hippolyte has absolutely no data on the unit, with the exception of its height being 19.8 meters. But as we could see, it has 4 beam sabers and 4 manipulator arms, as well as 3 beam cannons. It doesn't matter because, once again, Ariel destroys it with ease. In the 10th Tactical Sector, she fights against the Svalvi. The MV-7 Svalvi is a mobile suit made by Viren Systems. This unit has high output thrusters and is designed to fly fast and ram through its opponents. Along with the thrusters, it also has what looks like a mix of a sleigh mixed with a batleth from Star Trek, which also has some sort of shell weapons built into it. This fight matters so little that they cut to exposition explaining that the holder has to accept a fight every 2 weeks. Because Ariel was being rebuilt, they postponed the duels. The serial duel allows them to try to take the holder position from her while fulfilling the back order of duels. She wins another one. Her last battle is at the 2nd Tactical Testing Sector. She fights against the Capel Geo. The TKG 333 Capel Geo is made by Hammerfield Corporation and is 17.8 meters tall. It has 2 shields on its arm, and does it really matter? Ariel destroys it before I can even finish this sentence. Suletta is determined to hold the holder position until Myorene's birthday. Everyone is currently preparing for Open Campus, which is similar to a school festival. However, the people of Earth House are more concerned over the events that happened at Plant Quetta. The kids have been given a gag order to not talk about the incident or they will be expelled. But of course, Suletta is in good spirits about everything. She goes to attend the greenhouse while Myorene is away. She is currently at the Benneret Group front, where she is watching over her father, who was injured during the Plant Quetta incident. The top 3 are meeting with each other to discuss Plant Quetta. Shadik is there on behalf of Grassley Defense Systems. Lauda is currently acting as CEO for Jeturk Heavy Machinery. Grassley and Pale found out about the desultor that killed Vim Jeturk and want to know if they are doing shady dealings with terrorists. Lauda tries his best, but can't hold his own in the boardroom. Maybe one day, buddy. Shadik also mentions that there were 2 mobile suits on the battlefield that utilized gun format tech and contained high levels of permit. Vim is dead, and Delling is on the verge of death. They are going to use this opportunity to team up and attack Earth. A series of Hindry Sturms launch. Remember, we saw these units during Season 1. Let's just say suppressing the people of Earth, if you know what I mean. Murder. I'm talking about murder. Shadik talks with his father Sarius about his involvement with the incident. Remember, he hired Donna Fold to attack Plant Quetta in order to get the conflict going. It's a modern Gundam show, and just like modern geopolitics, we don't go to war. We just destroy lives and call it a conflict or an insurgency and throw it all under the rug. He must go back to school and not engage in business or duels and simply lay low for a little bit. Suletta calls her mother. She is still worried about the way she made spaghetti sauce the other day when helping Miorine. Prospera tells her that she handled the situation as best she could. So now that we are in the second season, we are clearly seeing Prospera, the Char mommy, grooming Suletta to become the next Char. She currently eats out of the palm of her mother's hands, but we will start to slowly see that change. Nika is in the Earth House hangar being melancholy over the event. Remember, Nika is Donna Fold's man in the middle. She betrayed Suletta and Miorine and feels bad about it. Suletta comes in and makes it worse by telling her how precious of a friend she is to her. Oh, that was so sweet and genuine. I bet Nika really feels bad now. Out of nowhere, Noria and Sophie come in and hug Suletta. They were the two Gundam pilots and members of Donna Fold. Suletta wonders who these two are. They pretend that they know Suletta from their Gundam Inc. ads. They say they were transferred here as first-year piloting majors. They want to join Earth House. Most of the house seems okay with it. However, later that night, Nika talks to Noria, demanding to know what they are planning. To get accepted to the Astacasia School of Technology, you have to be nominated by a company within the Benerit Group. It seems they created a fake shell company within the Benerit Group to get accepted to the school. What we learn here is that this is how Nika was able to get accepted as well. Noria tells Nika that she knows her dream is to be a bridge between Earth and the Spacians. Nika says, "Yeah, that's cool. You know what else is cool? This knife." She holds it up to her abdomen, suggesting that they all work together. Suletta gives Sophie a tour of the school. Oh my god, that Hato is so huge! Oh my god, that Hato is so phallic! Sophie causes a lot of havoc as she tours the campus. Martin and his bowl cut confronts Nika about her sending out an SOS during the Plant Quetta incident. He wants to know if she is hiding something. As the house president, he feels he is obligated to call this out. She of course lies and tells him that she simply didn't want to die and sent out an SOS. There is nothing more to it. Earth House is starting to cheer up as they prepare for the open campus when Guel's simps approach them and start talking shit. They inform the house about the Rumble Ring and to Kakagawai. I mean to prepare yourself. Of course, Suletta doesn't know about it. They tell her that the Rumble Ring is a battle royale style mock battle held on the last day of the open campus. It is a way for the house to show off their mobile suits. The holder must participate in this event. No one seemed to have told Suletta about this. Both Nika and the transfer students have been missing for some time. Sophie and Noria are trying to hack into Grassley's Gundam Ferrict. Nika finds the two and tells them to stop. They don't really listen to her, but she then threatens to squeal about the dummy companies. Sophie attacks her and breaks her phone. Noria is able to get Ferrict moving. She tells Nika that certainly she had to have realized that she wasn't able to come to the school without paying them back some way. She tries to step on Nika with the Ferrict when Suletta comes in with a scooter save. Noria thinks that Nika told their secrets, so she tries to step on both of them. Suletta stops her by challenging her to a duel. Noria doesn't care about the school rules, but Sophie indulges her. Miorine meets with Prospera. She wants to know why she made Suletta kill. She says that she saved the life of her and her father during that attack. Prospera was working with Delling towards the Quiet Zero project. She says that this will rewrite the world into one without war. Prospera says that she wants Miorine to follow through with the project. Miorine doesn't want to help Prospera with the Quiet Zero program, as she doesn't want to be a substitute for her father. Prospera explains that Quiet Zero is a new system designed to control any system via permit links, and Ariel is the trigger. She allowed Suletta to go to school to use the Gundam as a testbed. Miorine realizes that she is using her daughter. The attack at Plant Quetta threw a wrench in Prospera's plan, and unless President Delling awakes from his coma, the plan won't go through. She is concerned that the project will be shelved while in limbo if anyone got word of its existence. This episode certainly brings out the most sinister and manipulative version of Prospera thus far. The open campus is in full effect. Lalique, for some reason, thought that it would be a good idea for Earth House to sell milk from Tico's tits. Tico is the name of the goat, by the way. Alia is making medicine. Really, the native-looking character making medicine with herbs and a pestle and mortar? Keep playing the hits, Sunrise. Nika is injured from the incident with Noria and Sophie. She is keeping her fellow Earth House members in the dark. Of course, Martin knows. Suletta asks Nika about her relationship with Noria and Sophie. She opens up about always wanting to go to school. She says she will take care of everything and walks away. Elan 5 approaches Suletta and tries to make the moves on her and win her over. Sophie throws a hado at his face and takes Suletta away. Sophie tells her that the stakes in the duel, if she wins, is that she must become a part of Suletta's family. She tells Sophie that she is going to stay by Miorene's side, so she will win no matter what. Sophie says, so all I have to do is kill Miorene and she will be out of the way. Okay. A voice on the PA tells all members participating in the Rumble Ring to prepare for the duel. Lauda gives a speech to Jeturk House. Since his father is dead, he will become CEO of Jeturk Heavy Industries and is leaving school. The Rumble Ring is his last hurrah. Catty Bitch number 1 is getting more attention from Lauda than Catty Bitch number 2. Pale House tells Elan to give it his all, but he jokes, saying that he would die if he did that. Suletta just wants to save Nika from whatever she has going on with Sophie and Noria. Grassley House launches in the Hindry. The CFP-010 Hindry is a part of the Grassley Defense System Hind series and is based off of Hind OS. It is the successor to the Hindra seen in the prologue, and unlike the specialty unit, the Hindry is more general purpose, making it perfect for educational and private use. It is equipped with a round shield and another lantern shield, which is a shield with a built-in beam lance that could spin and fire beams. Everyone launches. Sarius is hosting the event as the representative for Delling and the Benneret group. The Daigo House is using the Klobari Dawan. You remember the Daigo House, right? Yeah, me neither. The BTZ-50HV Klobari Dawan is a mobile suit that can... This anime never lets me get through a mech breakdown. Choo-Choo in the Demi-Trainer holds her own against Jeturk House, but she begins to hesitate. Lauda attacks Suletta. Gundam, Ilfrith, and Thorn come in and take out Lauda instantly. They notice it is the 2 mobile suits they fought against during the Plant Quetta incident. Sophie and Noria begin their mission. Nika tries to tell someone about Noria and Sophie when Henayo of Grassley House takes her phone. She is trying to go against Shadik. Sophie and Suletta begin their duel. Sophie begins firing and destroying the arena. She has no limiters on her beam tech. Sophie is here to kill. Ruji tells Cecilia that this is an assault, so why hasn't the front management company moved in on the attack? Cecilia cancels the Rumble Ring and tells everyone to evacuate. One of the Klobari Dawan is shot, killing that guy. Did he have a name? Oh no. This moment could have been greatly enhanced if they killed off Renee or Felsi or someone who we actually had an interaction with in this show. Look, Lalit cries for this guy. I'm sure those two had so many adventures off screen. Sophie and Noria go to Permit Score 3 where they meet with Gunvolvas. The EDM GB Gunvolva uses the Ilfrith pre-production model as a basis for these units and are unmanned mobile suits controlled with Gund format tech. There is no cockpit in this unit, and rather they store a Gund format receiver in the chest. This is essentially a Gund bit in the form of a Gundam. It is equipped with a beam carbine, a shield, and a beam saber. These unmanned machines are the closest thing to mobile dolls that we've seen since Wing. So that makes Sophie like Dorothy, but without the eyebrows. She blows a hole into the front, and Ariel and Ilfrith fight in space. Suletta tells Sophie that she can't kill for the thing she loves. But then she remembered that one time she tried to make spaghetti sauce for Miorene. Choo-Choo and Elan protect downed Lauda. Shadik's faction takes Darius into custody. Elan 5 notices what they are doing. Sophie tells Suletta that everything involving the Gundams are nothing but pure evil. Suletta says, but Ariel was built by my mother. For the first time in her life, the light bulb in her brain goes off and she questions if her mother is a good person. A data storm surrounds Ariel. Sophie takes control of the Gunvolvas. She is pushing herself way too far. Remember what Elan 5 said about pushing yourself too far if you are a witch. Belmeria talks to Prospera, and she outright asks about her other daughter. What happened to Eric Samaya? Prospera says that she is by Suletta's side. It doesn't specify, but we could assume Sophie is at a permit score of 4, and it is doing great damage to her. As she begins to see the data storm, Sophie sees Eric Samaya. She says this is who she truly wanted to fight, and then suddenly stops. Belmeria realizes that Prospera turned her daughter into a Gundam. Prospera shows her the Quiet Zero program and tells her she will rewrite history. Suletta opens Sophie's cockpit to find that she has passed away. Noria tells her that this happens to all of the witches, all except Suletta. Noria wonders just who she is. The front management company walks in and takes Earth House in for questioning. They are arresting Nika for suspicion of being a terrorist. Martin finally took action and told someone. This does come off a little as Martin tattling on his team, but Suleta always takes the delusionally optimistic route of saving people. Martin seems like the only one that is an adult at this school, while everyone is just cosplaying businessman. We see this as Suleta, out in space, thinks that she saved Nika, not knowing what is going on inside. On Earth, we see how sparse resources are. Olcott is resupplying Earthians. He goes to check on Gwell, who is still his prisoner. He hasn't eaten anything in quite some time, as he still is in shock over the fact that he killed his own father. Olcott isn't going to let him die of starvation, so they shove food down his throat. Nika escaped with Donna Fold. Noria hits Nika and blames Sophie's death on her. She says that her methods will never get anyone to care about Earth, and then she kicks her in the face. Sabina tells her she can't kill a student. Darius thinks that Shadiq wants the business, but he actually wants the Bennett Group to sell all of its assets to Earth. Considering war is drying up, all that is left are small proxy wars fought on Earth. This will give them the power to fight their own wars perpetually. But most importantly, Shadiq wants to be in control of Earth's power. We learn that he is half Earthian, and Darius wonders if this is revenge against Space Noids. However, it is just the typical move to attain power. The Earth garrison forces head out. They are riding on top of a Tikbalang. The Tikbalang is a sublight system created by Pale Technologies. You could ride on top of the unit or hang from below. It is equipped with a wireless beam cannon stored in the nose. The Dominicus forces wonder why they aren't being used to attack Donna Fold. Kanaji Avery talks to Rajan of Cathedra. Myorine walks in and demands to know about Quiet Zero from Rajan. He has been around since the prologue and the Vanadis incident. Donna Fold is packing up and moving on to their next location. Some of the terrorist members stay as distractions in the Prodoros. The HU-45P Prodoros is a mobile suit made by Hanamat Manufacturing Industries. Like the Dom in Universal Century, these units have the ability to hover and glide. It is equipped with a pair of chain guns, a machine gun, and a halberd. While they are evacuating their citizens, one of the children yells about bringing back Gwell and not his father who died in the Plant Quetta incident. But Gwell makes it all about himself and says that me and my daddy issues are stronger than yours, kid. Also, he is a prisoner in a dirty-ass bathroom. Everyone is just hanging out in there. Gross. One of the kids mentions that his company is about to go bankrupt, which finally gets Gwell to respond. The Earth garrison spots Donna Fold and begins fighting the terrorists. They are trying to lure their forces towards the factories. A building with Olcott and the kids are hit. He gets up revealing that his left arm is made of gunned arm tech of some sort. One of the kids is critically injured. They leave her for dead. However, Gwell saves her and they make their escape. One of the Prodoros gets flung across the city and lands near Gwell. He goes to the mobile suit and begins barfing. Damn, how mangled was that body to cause you to throw up? He steals the mobile suit. Meanwhile, Kanaji informs a crewmate that Olcott was a former member of the Dominicus Corps, but he became a terrorist after the death of his family. Gwell operates the mobile suit, but it is too late. The little girl died while he was trying to save her. Olcott was the only member of his team to survive the attack. Gwell gets out and buries the young child. He needs to get back up into space. We know that Delling and Prospera were secretly working together, but the Quiet Zero program was actually started by Nautret Rembrandt, Myorine's mother. She was a botanical engineer who thought that the survival strategies of plants could be applied to humans. Delling invested his life in war. He is a peace at any expense kind of a person and found this endeavor hopeless. But Nautret's goals gave him hope. Delling intends to follow those goals no matter what. It is most likely the reason he started working with the Gundams even though he was the creator of the witch hunt. However, Rajan tells Myorine to follow her own path and not her father's. Balmeria is disgusted with learning about what happened to Prospera's first daughter. Prospera points out that her disgust is hypocritical, as Balmeria once worked on gun format tech to enhance the human respiratory system under Dr. Cardonabo. In other words, Balmeria is truly no different than Prospera, so she should stop acting so high and mighty. The news is reporting on the Donna Fold attack on the Astacassia School of Technology. There is a growing anti-Spacian sentiment on Earth. Protests now become riots. The three companies are meeting. They wonder where Sarius is. Of course, Shadiq plays dumb and pretends to not know. It seems their hardline politics is starting to backfire. They have to elect a new president. Shadiq plans on running if this were to happen. He doesn't seem worried about Myorine anymore. Now that Delling is no longer the president, Myorine won't have to be used as a trophy. The school is currently under strict restrictions due to the recent attack. Many students have left. Choo-Choo is mad that they still have Nika confined. Earth House always suffers when things go wrong. Choo-Choo's Demi and Ariel have been confiscated. Some of the students come to harass them. They throw a can at Martin's stupid bowl cut. Myorine comes over and scares them off with the one thing young people are afraid of: video evidence. Sabine wonders why Nika doesn't join the Shaddiq faction. She is also an Earthian, but she says she hasn't been since Shaddiq took her in. She says that Shaddiq will be the one to create a bridge between Earth and Spacians. Guel makes his return to the Bennett group front. Lauda passes out from realizing his brother is alive. Petra tells Guel that his brother hasn't had time to grieve for their father, as he had to take over the company and answer to the Venerate group. Now that Gundam Inc. and the Shinsei Corporation are working together, Feng of the Space Assembly League plan on investigating them. She also tells her that Nika isn't being held by the front management company. Earth House wasn't to get much information on their own, so they are grateful to Miorine. Suletta wants to show her the greenhouse when Prospera makes an appearance. She wanted to say hi and suggests she go out with Miorine. Awkward. Elan 5 is taking a lot of flack from Peel after the school incident. He plans on taking Ariel. He gets into the mobile suit and he begins panicking as he enters the data storm. There he sees Eddie. She tells him that he shouldn't be here. He panics and leaves the Gundam. Belmeria is watching him. She works for PAL now, but she still believes in the ideals of Gundam tech. She gets a little too into her ideals, so Elan 5 gives her a good old bright slap. Miorine apologizes for being mad at Suletta after the tomato sauce incident at Plant Quetta, but she still doesn't like that she kills for the sake of her mother. She asks if her mother asked her to leave the school, would she do it? Suletta says, oh yeah, totally. She asks if her mother told her to kill, would she do it? She says yes. She is ultimately a puppet being groomed by her mother. Miorine runs away and finds Prospera and demands to know why she is doing this to her. Prospera tells her that this is all a part of her family's vengeance. They are the only survivors of the Vanadis incident 21 years ago. Everyone she knew and loved were slaughtered because of dealing in the name of a witch hunt. She doesn't really care about being called a murderer after what her father did. Prospera goes, oh, so you finally decided to work with me on the Quiet Zero plan. She wants Miorine to run for president in the election so they could get the Quiet Zero program moving. She says, you come from the blood of a murderer. You can make this happen. She agrees to help her out in exchange for not using Suletta anymore, but she must engage in one last duel before she will let her go. Then they could do whatever they want. However, Prospera believes that Suletta and Ariel won't want to ever part. The next day, at school, Miorine asks if she would give up Ariel. Of course, she says no because Ariel is like family to her. Shaddiq meets with the Pale Grandmas to discuss a partnership as he plans on running for president. He wants to give Gundam Inc. and production of all Gundam to Pale Technologies as they built Ferric in secret. Of course, this is something that Sarius would never allow. They realize that Shaddiq did something to him and he isn't coming back. While Suletta is watering the tomatoes, Elan comes and demands that she gives him to Ariel. I believe this is the real Elan, but it might be Elan 5. That is when Guel comes and protects her. He tells her that he is returning to take over as president of Jeturk House. He is tired of running away from his problems. He says that he learned this from her. He once again confesses his feelings for Suletta. She is grateful, but she has someone else that she must protect. The walking pair of legs was listening to the conversation. Miorine has decided on what she wants for her birthday coming up. She wants Suletta to duel Guel. Guel is trying to build up Jeturk Heavy Industries, but he will need help, and the two must work together. In order to do that, Guel must win the duel. In this duel, the Hado is the observer. Is that allowed? Also, this Hado sounds so serious. I don't like it, but this is the series that brings us Death Hados. More on that during the last episode. If Suletta wins, Guel must help Earth House from the harassment it has been receiving. If Guel wins, Suletta must give up Ariel. She doesn't want to agree, but Miorine urges her. Guel has a perfectly good character design. Let's run it with a haircut. Prospera wishes Suletta luck in her duel. Everyone is working against her, even her mother. Guel is using the Garibaldi. When he gets inside his mobile suit, he is reminded of the last time he was in one when he killed his father. The two enter the battlefield. Pale Technologies is ready to incinerate Elan 5, just like they did Elan 4, but he has gone missing. He meets with Nika and Noria. He wants to work with them. The two begin their duel. Guel keeps getting PTSD on the battlefield. Belmeria is with Prospera as they take their leave from the front. It seems Belmeria's freakout about her ideals earlier were all a ploy to get people to make moves. Suletta uses her gun to bits to disarm Guel. She goes in for the attack, and he begins defending after having another panic attack. He uses his bits and begins attacking. He is able to take out Ariel's left arm. She tries to use her permit to disarm the Garibaldi, but Miorine deactivates Eddie. This allows Guel to swiftly come in and slice off her antenna, winning the match. Suletta loses for the first time since becoming the holder. Myorine tells Suletta that she shut down Eddie and that she wanted her to lose. She says, "I am only committed to winners, peace." As Suletta has nothing left, she begins to throw herself into school activities. Earth House has lunch. Suletta says, "Everything's so great. We are having such a good time. This is great. Everything is great." Yeah, she isn't taking it well. Guel is struggling to get investors on board. Prospera suggests they roll out the new mobile suit to gain support. Guel shows Myorine the new Gundam Shore Zeta. The MDX 0003 Gundam Shore Zeta is the first gun format tech mobile suit built by Jeturk Heavy Machinery. This is due to Prospera providing them with the tech. This is designed to be the successor to the Garibaldi, with great enhancements in its AI system. Its primary weapon is the Guardian, which is designed off of Ariel's gun bits. Like the gun bits, these can create a swarm controlled by the pilot. There are 4 offensive bit staves and 2 defensive bit staves. Each stave has a beam blade and a beam Gatlin when fired in stealth mode. It also has an armed launcher and an omnidirectional laser. The Guardian has 3 different modes. The Guardian Sheath creates a giant beam blade weapon used for melee, and the bit staves can be used as a shield in this mode. The Guardian Draw mode makes the bit staves orbit the Gundam, acting as a layer of protection, and the Guardian Marionette, which is a charging mode. This is the same as Ariel's bit on form, where the staves can connect to hardpoints and replenish energy. Prospera wants them to show off the mobile suit as a display of their joint partnership. Myorine doesn't want to, as Gund-Arm is meant for medical purposes and not mobile suits. Currently, Prospera is over at Grassley trying to get talks done with them. Belmeria is overlooking the gun node. It is an unmanned Gundam that extends Ariel's data storm. More on this later. Shadiq is trying to get access to Donna Fold's Gundams from the attack, but something is stopping them from gaining access. He wants Prospera to help him. Guel and Myorine run over and wonder what he is doing. They find out that he is also running for president, as he has gained the trust of Pale Tech already. Suletta doesn't blame herself for Myorine betraying her. Choo-Choo shakes her and says, "Come on, we are going to find Myorine." Elon 5 tells Nika that he isn't Elon and that Pale functions on an AI system and ranks everyone, with the original Elon being at the top. They are backups that look like Elon, or clones. They keep it vague, but their goal is to be guinea pigs for the Gundams, and they have some resistance to the data storm. If Nika were to use a Gundam, it would most likely kill her. The only exception seems to be Suletta and Ariel. Noria tries to stab Elon 5 for being a Spacian. Shadiq is getting more of a following, and Myorine wonders what their next move should be. Prospera shows her news of riots breaking out on Earth. This caused corporate overreach under the guise of investigating an incident. Myorine suggests that they go down to Earth and personally talk to the rioters. They can't go down with no show of force, so they decide to use Ariel. Meanwhile, Fang and the Space Assembly League question Belmeria. Martin talks to a Haro that acts as a crime hotline or some kind of digital therapist, as he asks the Haro if he did the right thing. Regardless, it is all fake, as Cecilia was listening to his conversation and she knows he is a snitch. Kanaji Avery decides to escort Myorine and Guel to Earth. Suletta goes to meet with Myorine and finds Ariel. She gets inside and pilots the Gundam. While inside, she struggles to move forward like her mother suggests. That is when Ariel and the data storm show her the past. She sees Eddie, who tells her a story of a time she was playing simulation games in Ariel. Eddie tells Suletta that she is a Repli child, which is a clone in this universe. She was one of many born of Eddie's genes. Suletta always mentions being the only child on Mercury, so I'm curious what happened to these other potential clones. I guess they got swallowed up by the data storm too? Suletta was made to be Eddie's body. However, once she reaches a permit score of 8, she will no longer need Suletta to help her move. Quiet Zero will help her achieve this. She says that she is no longer important to her or her mother, and she ejects her out of the mobile suit. Prospera comes and grabs her. She leaves a buoy for someone to save her, and she takes Ariel. She tells her to go back to school. It seems that Eddie and Prospera are doing this so Suletta doesn't get involved in what's to come. Before meeting Suletta, Myorine has spent most of her life wanting to go to Earth. Guel is joining him to make sure he doesn't mess this up, although he says it more elegantly. Meanwhile, Prospera has her own plans while on Earth. Back at school, since Martin accidentally ratted out Earth House, He is living the simp life. Simping it up hard. He claims his simping is to not bring any more trouble to Earth House. Hey, that's what a simp would say. Cecilia, shove a foot in his butthole. Myorine makes her landing. The Lanza souls escort their car. That is when Prospera comes in with Ariel. Shadiq, Ilan, and the Pale Grandmas discuss what will happen while Myorine is on Earth. They believe she is going to try the peaceful route. Belmeria meets with Fang. She says to Belmeria, "Relax, this isn't me representing the Space Assembly League. This is just two girls having a tea party." This makes Belmeria even more nervous. Fang tries to get her to open up, but she ain't having it. Belmeria walks away, but Fang's partner Gustan says sit down with just a simple glare. Fang says you better enjoy my tea party. As Guel and Myorine make it to the negotiations, a kid walks up to Guel and asks him for money. This looks exactly like Seto, one of the Donna Fold kids. Guel tells Myorine to handle negotiations on her own and goes after the kid while Kanaji follows. Good job, guys. Exited the car for 2 seconds and already went off plan. Plant Quetta played a big role in the last season, but what is it? Amongst other things, this is a permit mining facility. As Myorine goes to negotiate the potential of a new factory Earthside, which would bring more jobs to Earthians, the Earth faction interrupts her and simply says 1,529. This is the amount of people who have gone missing or unjustly detained in the name of investigating the so-called Plant Quetta incident. This is like a mini Patriot Act that gave the Benneret group overreach to do things like torture and murder in the name of corporate justice. They are from Earth House and thus from Ox Earth. They aren't stupid. They know they were strong-armed 20 years ago only for the Benneret group to slowly start developing gun-armed tech that was rightfully created by Earth faction in the first place. This is merely a company trying to take glory and monopolize something that they boldly claim to have hated in the past. This leaves Earth faction no choice but to force all Spacians to leave Earth. Back with Noria, Nika, and Alan 5. Noria may have seemed like the cool and collected one between her and Sophie, but she seems to miss Sophie ultimately because she knows that as a witch, she will see the same fate one day. Ilan is also a witch and understands this feeling considering his creators literally just want to incinerate him for being obsolete. However, Nika is so confused as to what is going on. Back on Earth, Myorine shows her legs. No, not those legs. The legs the students built for Gundam Inc., you filthy perverts. She shows the Earth faction the medical technologies they have been working on. She says that banning Spacians means Earthians would be banned from space, and she doesn't want this as Gunarm Inc. relies on Earth House. This inspires them to hold off on banishing all Spacians from Earth at least until the presidential election takes place. At school, Choo-Choo finds Suletta eating in the dark like a mouse. She forces her to interact with the rest of the world and get out of her funk. They happen to be making soup using milk from Tico's tits. The taste of Tico's tits makes Suletta cry. As everyone eats, Martin finally comes over and spills the beans to Earth House about the truth about Nika. Choo-Choo is mad, but Suletta says she was trying to stop Sophie and Noria. Till says that they have to ask her face to face. He gives Martin a bucket and tells him to milk Tico. He also tells him to shower. "You smell like feet." Guel meets up with Sede, and they discuss Cynthia's unfortunate death. This was the little girl Guel tried to save on Earth. He asks Guel if he could help him get into school. Grassley has training programs that help war orphans like Sede. This is actually where Shadiq came from, so it is possible to advance from there to Astacassia. He says he wants to be like the prince. That is when Kennedy treats this little kid like a suspect and pins him. The prince that he is referring to is Shadiq before taking on that name. This is something that isn't uttered in space. So why does an Earthian kid know about this? Especially one associated to Donna Fold. Guel calls Myorine and tells her that it is Shadiq. He is the one behind the attack on the school. He doesn't have any evidence, so Myorine suggests he go back to school and find Sarius. Prospera begins making her move. Remember that Ariel has the override feature when operating at permit score 6 or higher. At the moment, there is a ceasefire between the Benneret group and Earth rebels. Ariel overrides one of the Earth rebels' tanks and forces it to fire on the building where Myorine and the negotiations are happening. This makes it seem like the rebels broke the ceasefire, which allows Prospera to just have a good time. She goes underground near a harbor to find former Ox Earth mobile suits. Back in space, Fang tells Belmeria that the ones that are funding the former Ox Earth seems to be the Space Assembly League. She seems to be an internal affairs type figure trying to figure everything out from the inside. The ceasefire between the Benneret group and Earth ends. This also causes Myorine's negotiations to end as well. Belmeria tries to show Fang the data regarding Quiet Zero, but that is when a silent gunshot goes off. Prospera's right-hand man, Godoy, shoots Fang. She pushes Belmeria and closes the door as Godoy puts a few rounds in Fang. Damn, this is why you never tell people your plan. You instantly die. Every time. Myorine blames herself for all this. Meanwhile, the media also blames Myorine for all of this. As Guel heads back to the school to try to arrest Shadiq, the Grassley house is moving Sarius. The Grassley girls launch in the Hindry, and Shadiq launches in the Michaelis. Roji and Cecilia ask Martin why Ariel is on Earth, but they have no idea either. Roji says, I will use this Hado to kill you. Tone it down a little bit, Roji, since everyone on campus is connected. Earthhouse and Suletta have been receiving spam and hate regarding the Earth incident. As Suletta goes to classes, she starts developing a bond with Petra, the girl who likes Lauda. Guel meets up with Lauda when they detect 5 mobile suits approaching them. He goes out in his Garibaldi and engages with Shadiq. Kanaji and his Dominicus team launches in Big Air Pintes. He goes into the front and locks down the school. The kids seem used to it by now. This is only a 24-episode series and they already had like 2 9/11s. They're used to it. Once the doors unlock, Noria instantly runs out and heads to her mobile suit. Why is a terrorist mobile suit so easily accessible? Never mind. Elan 5 follows her and wonders why she would pilot, knowing that it would kill her. But after Sophie's death, she has nothing to live for. She activates Ilfrith Throne and the Gondolvas. She begins attacking the school and takes out Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer. Maybe your insurance will buy you a new Demi Trainer model. Just kidding, insurance doesn't cover Earthians. Shadiq and Guel continue fighting outside of the front. He tells them that their fathers only concern themselves with intra-fighting of houses and not seeing the bigger picture. He also knows that Guel was the one who killed his own father. Lauda overhears this communication. All the students evacuate to the hangars. Since Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer was destroyed, Cecilia allows her to pilot their Demi Barding. The MSJ R122 Demi Barding is made by the Burin company who makes the other Demi mobile suits. It is still in the prototype phase and used mainly for testing and development. This was made without profitability in mind, so they didn't cut any corners. It is also easier to maintain than other Demi trainers. It is equipped with Fist Vulcans, a beam saber, a battery magazine powered beam rifle, and a cannon on the shoulders. Nika shows up and helps calibrate Demi Barding. Choo-Choo can't forgive Nika until she tells her everything. She goes out and attacks the Gondolvas. Felsi comes to assist her. Shadiq blames Guel for taking Myorine away from him. Tell as old as time. Shadiq cuts through the Garibaldi while Guel destroys Michaelis' limbs. Guel jumps out of his mobile suit. They are surrounded by the Demi garrison operated by the Front Management Company. Elan 5 pilots Ilfrith and tries to get Noria to run away with him. He is probably one of the few people that understands her, but she pushes him away. At that moment, the Dominicus team shoots down Noria. During this whole controversy, we have been seeing Suletta and Petra try to escape from the chaos. The two are hit by a big explosion. Suletta gets up to find that Petra is dead. The school recoups from yet another terrorist attack. Lauda now knows that Petra is dead and Guel killed his father. For Suletta, nothing matters but trying to save as many students from the rubble as possible. The school is in disarray. Is this the futuristic equivalent of a school shooting? The Bennett group does like to spin domestic terrorism. Suletta is handing out towels to those in need. Cecilia mentions to her that she has changed. Petra seems to be alive, but she is in critical condition. Myorine is still blaming herself for all the destruction on Earth. At least this time, they have Shadiq as a prisoner. She goes to question him. Shadiq asks her to go easy on the Grassley girls, as he was the mastermind behind everything. He has been working with the Space Assembly League. He hesitates to answer for how long. I assume it was when he realized he lost any chance to be with Myorine. Get over it, dude. Back at school, Suletta and Myorine froze a bunch of tomatoes which survived the attack. Earthhouse begins handing them out to the students when Palmeria and Gustan of the Space Assembly League ask for Suletta's help. The Pale Grandmas become whistleblowers and tell the world of Quiet Zero. You're supposed to keep quiet about that. Now it is Loud Zero. Space Assembly League gets approval to investigate the Bennett group with the intention of breaking it up. Pale is no longer on their side and Myorine is unsure of their next move. They get in contact with Sarius. Now that he is free of Shadiq, he suggests that they place all blame on Grassley House and she wash her hands of this. Sarius is willing to go down to keep the system running as is, but Myorine says that she is tired of others taking the fall for her. Valmeria explains to Suletta and us the viewer what Quiet Zero is. It creates a data storm that can take control of anything using Permit. Yes, Permit is used for gun format technologies, but Permit also exists in almost everything, including the construction of fronts. This would allow Prospera to hack almost anything and have control. They want Suletta to convince Prospera, but she knows it will do nothing. She tells everyone that she is a Repli child and that her sister Edict is the one that her mother truly loves. She fell ill, and her mother essentially uploaded Eddie into the data storm, making Ariel function as Eddie's body. Guston says, okay, if you can't negotiate with her, what if we give you a Gundam and you punch her? Belmeria thinks that this Gundam is too much, as Suletta won't be protected from the data storm. The reason that Suletta could handle Ariel and high permit scores in the first place is that it wasn't her, but rather Eddie who was taking on the burden. This new Gundam would certainly feed off of her, but she realizes that she has to do what must be done, even if it gets them nowhere. She wants to see the Gundam. Ariel connects to a Quiet Zero interface, as the Gundam will be the one controlling the device. The Space Assembly League notices Quiet Zero approaching them. Gun nodes launch from the device. The XGF E3 gun node, unlike the Gundolvas, are mobile suit type gunned bits and are unmanned. These were built alongside Quiet Zero by Prospera and will operate with Ariel's override mode. All these units can communicate to one another and share tactical data. They can also be used to expand the data storm. They are Wi-Fi extenders for the data storm, essentially. It is equipped with a beam rev rifle and a beam blade. The Space Assembly League launched the Kargor. The UOR-108 Kargor is a general-purpose cannon fodder mobile suit operated by the Space Assembly League. It is equipped with a beam rifle, a shield, and a missile launcher. The two forces begin fighting. Kargor pilots realize that they are unmanned. Quiet Zero expands the data storm. Everyone inside of it is now controlled by the device. They override and have the Space Assembly League kill each other. The students are informed of the destruction of the Space Assembly League fleet. Suletta and the gang are heading out with Belmeria and Guston. Elan 5 wants to join them. She agrees if he tells her everything he knows about Elan 4. Meanwhile, Lauda blames Myorine for Petra's near death and Guel's change. He looks up at the Shore Zeta. Everyone is prepping to head towards Quiet Zero. Chuchu borrows the demi-barding from Cecilia, but her insurance premiums are quite high. They leave Tico and the rest of the livestock for another house to look after. Quiet Zero has stopped operation. Cathedra and the Benneret group members meet to see what they could do. Suletta wants to meet with Myorine and have a heart-to-heart talk, but Guel doesn't want to allow her. He says that they should duel. If he wins, she will give up on Myorine. She agrees. Is the school even capable of holding a duel right now? Most of the school is destroyed, so... Oh, a fencing duel. I didn't see that coming. Did they set up that these two could fence? This is kind of out of nowhere. Is it just because of a duel? Is it a reference to Amado and Char? I don't get it. Anyways, Suletta wins the duel fast. Not that there was any emotional weight. Guel seems to be over this as well because he says, congrats, you are the holder now, bye. Suletta tells Myorine that she is going to stop Quiet Zero and talk to Mom and Eddie. She still can't handle that her decisions got people killed. Suletta relates to her by talking about that one guy she killed by making tomato sauce, but she did it to protect the people she cares about. The walking pair of legs gets up and opens the door. Wow, they really linger on those legs. She convinces Myorine to join them. Quiet Zero is currently at the L4 point heading towards Plant Quetta. Suletta has a special breed of tomato that was originally Miorine's mother's. They check the genetic code to find a message saying that she will be with Myorine. Myorine gets into Calibar Gundam. The XEX-01 Gundam Calibarn is a prototype Gundam developed by the Vanitas Institute. We have seen the Ilfrith prototype and its variants, but this does things a little differently. The Ilfrith series minimizes impact on the human body when increasing a permit score. The Calibarn is all about performance, so it takes a toll on the pilot's body. Belmeria referred to this Gundam as a monster, and there are no guarantees on the pilot's life, even at low permit scores. This is considered the most cursed Gundam. Its main weapons is the variable rod rifle. On the back of the rifle are 4 thrusters, and the Calibarn can ride this. If you haven't figured this out, it is a freaking witch's broom. They are going all in on the witch motif. Other weapons include beam Vulcans, a beam saber, and a shell unit. It will later be upgraded with Ariel's Escutcheon, along with its 11-bit staves. Like Ariel's Escutcheon, it has the high maneuverability mode and the bit on form, or charging mode. I wish they gave this Gundam a witch's hat. I'm sure there's a GUNPLA build out there. They activate the Gundam and go to permit score 3. She begins struggling like every other witch now that she doesn't have Ariel to protect her. They increase to permit score 4. She is able to make it to 5. Before heading out, Delling Rembrandt wakes up from his coma. Myorone visits him, though he is still somewhat unresponsive. The team heads out. Guel, Felsi, and Roji and his Death Haro also join the team. Quiet Zero begins expanding its data storm. Caliban enters into it. Only Gundams can enter, and conveniently making Suletta the only option, except for the modifications on the bombarding that allows it, but let's not talk about that. Prospera notices that it is Suletta. She begins fighting the gun nodes. Outside of the data storm, Gundam Shorzeta makes its appearance. It is Lauda. Stupid Lauda. He begins fighting Guel in his Garibaldi. Eric tells Suletta that she shouldn't have come here. Outside, Lauda is taking all of his frustrations out on Guel. Felsi goes to help Guel, while Nika and Chuchu head out in the demibarding. Permit has been added to the demibarding to allow them to enter the data storm. The Gundam Shorzeta's sword turns into gun bits. Okay, that's kinda cool. Lauda attacks like a madman. He takes off Guel's antenna as though it was a duel. It shows you where Lauda's head is at compared to Guel, who has done a lot of growing. The Space Assembly League gets a call from Delling Rembrandt, who wants to gather everyone for an emergency meeting. Suletta won't allow them to kill just to bring back Eddie. Eddie attempts to kill the demi-trainer when a data interference occurs. Chuchu is carrying Myorone and the others in a cargo hold. They are blitzing towards Quiet Zero. Prospera cocks her gun and says, "Time to kill some children." The team consists of Kanaji, Belmeria, Myorone, Elan 5, Chuchu, and Martin. Chuchu opens the door on Quiet Zero to find Death Haros. Guel and Lauda continue fighting. The two go in with their beam sabers, but Guel turns his off. Lauda stabs through the Garibaldi. Did you know this episode aired on June 25th, which is National Fatherless Children's Day in Japan? Well, happy Fatherless Children's Day, Guel. And you too, Lauda. Felsi comes in and shoots spooge all over the Garibaldi to prevent it from exploding. She calls the two idiots. Yeah, that was an expensive outburst. Those Gundam repairs aren't cheap. The away team uses a flashbang on the Death Haros and temporarily deactivates them. They try to use emergency codes to deactivate Quiet Zero, but Prospera comes in with more Death Haros. She changed the codes, of course. Myorone tries to go into the codebase to see if she could bypass authentication. Local authentication? Non-cloud-based authentication in the future? Never mind. Ignore it. Elan 5 and Belmeria take on the Death Haros. Just as one is about to shoot Myorone, Elan 5 comes in with the play of the game and shoots Prospera right in her Char helmet. While this is going on, Myorone stumbles onto a prompt in the codebase that asks, "How are the tomatoes?" Now, Myorene's mother, Notret, was said to be the original creator of Quiet Zero, which started out as a botanical engineering project. Of course, Delling handled this after her death and eventually handed it over to Prospera. Myorone remembers back to Suletta telling her about the message in the tomato's genetic code. She types into the prompt the genetic code of Notret's tomatoes, and this gives Myorone full access to Quiet Zero. Myorene's mother effectively placed a backdoor into the system, knowing this would happen one day. This allows them full access to Quiet Zero, and they stop all operations. The Death Haros stop as well. It seems that they have stopped Quiet Zero. Delling contacts the Space Assembly League and says that they should stand down now that it has been deactivated. But the SAL says, nah, actually we're kind of tired of corporations running things. So we are going to just fire a massive weapon at the L3 point, and we'll pick up the pieces once it's all over. The Space Assembly League has a secret solar ray type weapon hidden up their sleeves. Oh snap, it wouldn't be a Gundam AU if a weapon of mass destruction doesn't come out of nowhere, I guess. Looking at you, Seed, Eddie can sense something big coming. The weapon is fired. Eddie uses Ariel and the gun nodes to shield Quiet Zero, mainly to protect Prospera. They seem to have saved the device, but once the dust settles, Suletta notices that Eddie and Ariel are destroyed. Suletta wakes up and instantly wants to go find Eddie. Ruji tells her that the ILTS, or Interplanetary Laser Transmission System, fired at a max output. This would leave them some time before they could fire again. Prospera gets up after getting shot. I guess her helmet's good for something. Ariel and Eddie seem to be dead in the water as the Gundam isn't showing any signs. SAL forces are heading their way. Suletta launches in the Caliban and Guel in Felsi's Delanza. She takes what remains of Ariel and brings it to Quiet Zero. Prospera wants her to connect her back to Quiet Zero, but Suletta refuses. She tells her daughter that she was kind of putting on a front and that her body is giving out, and she has very little time before the inevitable. All she wants is for Eddie to have a body and a place to live. But she says she is wrong, because Eddie doesn't want her to die at her expense. So Suletta says, I'll try it. She tries to max out her permit score, which I believe is permit score 9. When she does, she sees Elan 4 as a permit ghost. They apologize to one another, and Elan 4 helps her create her own data storm. she is able to reactivate Ariel. Eddie gives Suletta Ariel's bits. This adds the escutcheon to the Caliban. Eddie allows Suletta to hijack communications to allow Myorine to speak to SAL. Throughout the last half of this season, Myorine has been calling in favors from her fellow board members. She tells the Space Assembly League and everyone that the Benerit Group has decided to merge with the Earth companies and liquidate all its assets. This could only be done with the head of the three families signing off on it. Of course, Myorine has Gwel's signature for Jetur, but she also got Shaddiq and Elan Prime to sign off on it as well. This was the favor Myorine asked of Shaddiq. Also, thanks to Sarius, she also states that Grassley Defense is now on record of conspiring with SAL. The Pale Grandmas are mad at how this could happen. Elan says, "It was me. They gave me money and a nice cushy job if I signed it over to her. I was barely in the show. It was all about my clones. I'm getting paid, bitches." Elan Prime out. Because of this, Donna Fold's job on Earth is finally done. Even with all of this, it doesn't matter to SAL, as they are almost ready to fire the ILTS system once again. Suletta will stop it on her own. She creates a giant data storm that apparently reaches from the L4 point to the L1 point. She's extending 5G coverage like crazy. This allows Suletta to take control of all the Gundams on board the ship, which includes Swarzetta, Caliban, Ferrict, and Ariel. I guess Elan 5 brought Ferrict with him? This extends the range, allowing Suletta to override the ILTS. While in the data storm, Prospera is able to see her husband Nadim and Cardo Nebo as permit ghosts. Eddie tells her mother that she wants to be by Suletta's side. The permit breaks down at the particle level, and the Gundams and Quiet Zero dissolve. Suletta and her keychain are drifting out into space after the Gundam disappeared. The keychain lights up. The Demi Barding with Myorine on board goes to save her. Add Stella 125. Over the past 3 years, Nika was in prison for helping Earth and the Shaddiq faction. Earth House meets up with her. She received a mechanic's certificate which allows her to work while finishing up school. I can't imagine she was allowed back to Astacassia though, right? After being Cecilia's simp, Ruji finally learns to stand up for himself. Meanwhile, Elan 5 goes to find all the places on Earth that Noria drew in her notebook. Myorine still has a lot of work to do, mending the wounds she created on Earth 3 years ago. She heads out to meet with Suletta and Prospera, who is now in a wheelchair. After her legs finally gave out from too much permit, Suletta has finally become a teacher like she always wanted. On Myorine's luggage is the keychain. It begins talking. Eddie's consciousness now exists in this charm. Imagine being powered by a high-end operating system in a mobile suit and then being transferred to something with the compute power of a Raspberry Pi. Kill me! Suletta helps Myorine up, showing the two wearing rings. So they are married, even if the execs over at Sunrise are really trying to downplay that hard. They're just two really good roommates. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. I really liked the themes in this show, but man, it needed more focus or more episodes. Was this a show about a school of Gundam pilots? A show about corporate overreach within the government? Or is this about taboo technology that everyone hates but also loves? Well, they're all wrong. It turns out it's a show about a mother and a daughter, but it needed to focus on one of these aspects instead of jumping around in between these ideas. I believe each of these themes have potential to be its own Gundam show. Ad Stella is a relatively new universe with not too much to work with, but our next Witch from Mercury adventure will be Vanitas Heart. This takes place in AS-106, 5 years after the Vanitas incident, where we see the hatred for Gundams and Earth grow. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, if you have to put your sister in something, maybe give her something with a camera and access to the internet. Peace.